Gotta mute YouTube.
Good morning, boys and girls. It is the weather report.
I mean, it's afternoon, not morning.
Don't be fucking... Okay, I'm booting you. Fuck it. Pedantic son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Okay. Weather report for April 8th, 2021. And let's see now. If I got it right, I'm 25,660 days old today.
You're getting so old, that's not trustworthy anymore.
I know. I have to keep like recalculating it over and over again. And my mommy told me not to do the weather report today, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm just that kind of a guy. Tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. But anyway, pictured is on our weather report picture for the day. We have Michael J. Oard, the Weatherman. I thought that was the only photo I could find of him that fit. So where he's, I believe he's giving a lecture about the Ice Age and how it happened. I don't know exactly when he thinks it happened, but like within the last 4,000 years, he thinks it happened.
Yeah, you know, real geologists gives dates.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not a
well, he might be precise
here, but geologists give dates. I mean, he says Pleistocene. When the heck does he think that happened?
Right.
And over what period of time?
Well, if I know these biblical people, he probably gives a day and a date, you know, like August 15th, you know, for Noah's flood plus 300 or something like that, 302. But, you know, I'm not sure. I haven't watched the video. So
Gotcha.
Standing for Truth watched the video. I don't think he said he had 10K subscribers yesterday. Is he talking about Raw Matt's? You know, Raw Matt did some video that was based on some documentary, and they got a whole lot of views. And I guess he supposedly has 10,000 subscribers. But I looked yesterday, and it looks like he only still has 3. Let me see here. So I'm confused about what he was talking about. Okay, here's Michael J. Oard. No, okay. I put it up here. It says he has 3.7 thousand subscribers, which is about 200 subscribers up from where he was last year, like when I started following him. So I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what he said that in chat yesterday? He said we have 10K subscribers now. And I'm pretty sure, let me see here if I got the raw map. Oh, no, Raw Matt's site is now called the Young Earth Creation. And he has 8,000 subscribers. And they have one video that has a tremendous amount of views. 496,000 views. The best movie explaining Noah's flood ever. And that is their most popular video. And the next one down has 7,100 views. Indonesian martial arts. What? Wait a minute. Okay. Let me try to unpack this. I got to go back to sorting by date added. Okay. Oldest? No, date added. Newest. He's got something on calling all vegans. That's a must watch. Date added. Newest. Okay. So, yeah, he gets like 300, 400 views. Sometimes 800 views on Noah's flood stuff. Why did that happen? How did he get all those views on that movie? Or did he happen to get I don't know how he got all those views on the movie, but no, I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, they are certainly more popular than we are.
I mean,
how could he do that without getting a strike? Did he play an entire movie?
Yeah, I think it was. I think he probably had permission of whoever made the movie because he's coming up in the world. So
I guess so.
Quite rapidly, he's coming up in the world.
I still feel ashamed that he got started on my channel.
Yeah, you should. We should repost some of those videos. You know that? Do you want to repost them on your channel or repost them here?
Wait, what do you mean? Like if you go on my channel, you'll be able to find them. I mean,
we need to clip out the standing for truth parts and re-premiere them and do a premiere. What do you think of
that? Let's do it on your channel. Yeah,
that would be kind of a good project because he said some. A lot of the stuff he said back then, he's still saying now. Like,
I mean, if you want, you can go. Yeah, you can go on my channel and just look through. I don't really have any. You know what? I haven't done a stream myself in a while because I don't really want the attention of certain individuals, even though I still get it anyway.
Okay. Let me try to get my stuff together here. My stuff's not together again. It's not together. Oh, we're not having a weather report tomorrow because tomorrow is the family vaccination day celebration where we're 3/4 of my family is getting vaccinated tomorrow, and the other 1/4 was already vaccinated. So we're going to be at 100% in our family, which is pretty cool. And all in one day. How about that? So not doing a weather report tomorrow. And let's see, I was going to talk about Cell Cordova and zinc fingers because I've been doing some research.
What the fuck is zinc fingers? Like that just seems weird.
It's a functional motif in proteins. And Cell loves topoisomerase. In fact, his name is on an actual scientific paper with, I think, Sanford and somebody else where they talked about. They kind of implied that topoisomerase couldn't possibly evolve or something like that. And zinc fingers are pretty interesting. There are 600 different proteins that use zinc fingers to do everything but slice bread in your body. So I'm pretty sure
they do slice bread. They slice bread into the chemicals they need.
Well, humans couldn't slice bread without zinc finger protein, so
yeah. So there you go.
They do slice bread, so that's obvious. I got to switch my sound over.
Zinc finger sounds like a low budget James Bond movie.
What's that? That went over my head.
Zinc finger sounds like a low budget James Bond movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. Awesome.
They wanted to make a movie, but they just didn't try very hard.
Yeah. Watching some of the really early ones like Goldfinger, I get the same impression. They wanted to make the most exciting thing about the James Bond movies back in the days. We'd go to the theater and watch them. I watched Goldfinger in the theaters, and they had that animation in the beginning and stuff. Or I don't know. The intro was really good, and we were real excited about it because you didn't get a lot of intros back in the day, so it was kind of new.
Back in my day, we had intros in our movies. Now we only have previews.
Yeah. So now Danny and Danny and Danny's fans on this club or on this YouTube channel all had a problem with bleep skin, with us saying bleep skin. So we're not going to say bleep skin anymore. And we couldn't come up with a new code word, and I suggested a bunch of things. Nobody had any good ideas. So it basically, in Danny's honor, we're going to call it Danny Skin from now on. So because we're trying to appeal to a more sensitive audience. And in order
You only
to
have to move one letter around, and it'll be Dannykins.
Dannykins would be good.
Yeah.
Well, either way, say I'm going to leave that open. Your choice:
Okay.
Danny Skins or Danny Skin or Dannykins.
Or can we just say Danny the Weenie?
God damn, you're good at this stuff, Scott. You ought to be in. Are you in marketing around here?
Well,
You should be.
I can think them up as long as I don't try to think them up.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. What did you come up
then
with,
even
Scott?
Dannykins.
Oh, Dannykins, yeah.
And
he
even
also
then, it's only like a 30% chance I'm going to hit on something funny.
And he immediately spotted that zinc finger thing too. So
I mean, Dannykins just sounds like a term of endearment.
yeah, it does. We don't want that. Even though we are trying to be more sensitive.
You more sensitive?
I am a really sensitive guy. I mean, if I find out that somebody's offended by something I'm doing, I dwell on it. Right?
Was that a crack at me?
Oh
I'm joking.
no.
I know I wasn't.
No, but it should have been. I think it should have been. I don't have any coffee, guys. What are we gonna do?
You can use DoorDash to buy a coffee, or you can make your own.
Yeah, we could take about 5 minutes of me going over to the place. Okay.
You need to come up with a commercial. Sort of like a
commercial break. I do.
Yeah, a commercial break that you can advertise things. I don't know.
Peter, is Peter out there?
Foreskin is pretty damn sensitive.
Danny Skin?
That's immutable. That's what Immutable said. Foreskin is pretty damn sensitive.
I'm just saying that all of those philosophers are so body negative. They have no body positivity.
I mean, don't get me started on the whole body positivity movement, please.
I find his email.
I mean, I understand that every body is beautiful, but lose some weight, for God's sake.
I have so many people to invite lately. I always forget to invite somebody. And I hate that. So I'm
anti-foreskin, pro aerodynamic. And I love Serb.
Anti-foreskin and pro aerodynamic. Danny Skin.
No, okay. Bad speed.
I think it honors him and it says his name more, and he likes that. So
sure, whatever.
I'm doing it for him, and I want him to know that. I want him to feel that love from me. Feel
Where is the love?
Concerning foreskins, I want Danny to feel the love.
I feel like singing.
God, did that come out right?
Yeah, no, it didn't.
You were singing a little while, when you entered the studio, weren't you? Or was that Scott? Who was that?
I think I was singing, but that's because I'm incredibly fucking high. And no, I don't mean high with illegal substances. I mean high with, serotonin or dopamine.
The world, the world makes you high. Oh, brain bugs here. Got a brain bug in. I wish Oard would show up.
Why?
Huh? Because I'd like him to talk about he was basically him and I differ a little bit about, standing for truth, putting out these PhDs, I guess. So Oard was defending, saying we need to listen to these people, basically. And he's got a slightly different opinion than me.
Yep. Listen to what people?
These weathermen like Michael Oard.
Why do we need to listen to him?
Oard thinks so, and he's a geologist. So
he thinks what he's saying is right.
He thinks we need to listen to them, because they have an opposing view. I think is what's happening. Whoa, shit! Sorry, servers.
Whiplash.
So don't you think we should listen to them?
Well, yeah, let's listen to it. See what he has to say.
Afternoon, Serb.
I want to take a stab in the dark and say that this video is summarized by God, blah, blah, Jesus, blah, blah, Christian, blah, blah.
Yes.
I don't know if he appeals to. Let's just say if he appeals to Christianity. I think. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I'm not muted. Okay, everything should be good.
On the Ice Age. So, and it sounds kind of convincing, but when you look at it carefully and bring back the Bible into Earth history.
You can't? Scott, did you say you can't hear it?
I said I can hear it.
Oh.
You asked us to tell you if we can hear it. So
you should have told me if you
can't hear it.
Okay. Okay, listen to this now. We'll see if he brings the Bible into it.
On the Ice Age. So, and it sounds kind of convincing, but when you look at it carefully and bring back the Bible into Earth history,
Oops.
you know, there's a whole different way of looking at it, a whole different explanation.
Oops.
And so this is my theme verse for research. I examine everything carefully. So I need to kind of back up and kind of.
Okay, so he makes a case for why there really is an ice age. And he shows that he does have some knowledge of geology. And he shows a couple of clips here. And I don't know what he says about that lake.
Okay, was anybody really disputing that there was an ice age?
Some creationists do.
And there's been multiple ice ages throughout Earth's history.
He's going to tell us why there was only one. He says that in the beginning of the video. So he said there's only one.
Fucking joy! These people are a joy to talk to or to talk about.
But he opened up with the Bible, his favorite geology book. You know that we should. You know, if we look at it from the perspective of the Bible, and which really honestly tells you what these guys are doing, that they're not looking at. They do not start with science or papers or facts or empirical evidence. They start with the Bible. And they take all evidence and try to fit it into that story.
Yep.
Which is pretty honest of him, actually, to say it right up front like that. I don't know.
That's good.
Hey, Cerberus, what do you think?
About which part?
About them using the Bible as their first primary science source, and then fitting everything else into it.
I think it's stupid because it's not a science document.
Yeah.
Right. Like even if it's true, it's not scientific. Yeah. So why would you take it scientifically?
Especially when, you know, it's like finding a coffee can in your house and trying to shoehorn everything you own in your entire garage and house into that coffee can.
I mean, that's wow. That is a very small coffee can, unless we're talking about the big ones.
It'd be like the Big Bang. It'd be like a singularity. Like for my house, it would be like a singularity to get everything into that coffee can. But they shoehorn everything into the Bible, and they all do it. And that's the problem we have with these guys. And like Brenda was saying yesterday, that we ought to just come at them with overarching logical arguments, and that would be one. That would be
isn't that what we do already, or at least most of us try to do?
Well, I come at them with like science minutia, and it bounces right off there. It bounces off them. It's just like water off a duck.
Yeah, I mean, I just come at them by slowly learning the terminology and reasoning they use, and then make an argument that like supersedes the one they like to make.
Yep. Saul Cordova with his zinc fingers is an example where he says there are two proteins that fit really together like a glove, and they differ a little bit in different organisms. So how did they co-evolve? Was his question. And
I think it's zinc fingers at a local Dairy Queen.
You might be able to get some. I don't know.
Like in a basket with fries.
I think they would be metallic tasting. I don't know. Or you could just lick the inside of a pail. A galvanized pail, right?
I think that's why they serve it with gravy, to kind of avoid that.
Avoid the metal taste, yeah.
Metal taste, yeah.
Yep. Zinc is very good for you, actually, as a supplement, supposedly. I don't know. Okay, let's listen. Great Science Mysteries.
their own making because they believe in evolution, like this one right here. Why should males exist? Well, in evolution, you should only have one sex that reproduces asexually. They can't figure out why there's a male and a female, and they write books and articles trying to figure out
Oh
this
my
great.
fucking Christ!
Yep.
Look. Honestly, it can be argued that life itself is female, because everyone starts out as female before, the sex is determined. You know what I mean? So
that was a pretty dumb thing to say about evolution, but anyway, okay, it was on U.S. News. Why should males exist? Right? Great Science Mysteries. What is wrong with the fucking? Who's in charge of this magazine? What kind of bozo put that on there? I don't know. Anyway, the evolution of sex, it is a big mystery, I guess, or it's something that we're unwinding. But I mean, why should males exist? What a weird way to put it.
Well, wait, hold on a sec. Why should males exist? Like from what I, from what I've read, from what I remember reading, different sexes exist. So so there's a chance to have more genetic diversity, right?
Well,
being asexual, having asexual organism is fine and all, but I'm sure the genetic diversity is lacking. So nature's like, how can I have more genetic diversity? Oh, I know, create male and female and have them have, different experiences. Now I know I'm anthropomorphizing nature, but yeah.
Can I take a hot take?
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's okay. Wait, this is not your channel.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know it's not my channel. Screw you, Serb. Okay? I was trying to contribute. Fuck you.
I'm going to say that. Well, no, this is not your channel. It's not the hot take.
Oh,
that's
what was the hot take?
The hot take is the reason why you should have men, because everything women want and need to be maintained is done by men.
Oh man! Oh, well, you're pushing it.
Well, no, hold on. There's a reason why they say men make better women than women.
You're pushing it.
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Okay. Darth Dawkins had a lot of really interesting things to say about women on that little video I listened to this morning. There's a difference between being strong and being a bitch, he said. Darth Dawkins quote. So he also mentioned coming over here twice. The reason he came over to the channel was because we were picking on Otangelo. And Otangelo has not been to our channel since the last Darth Dawkins appearance. Did you notice that?
So how did Dawkins, or whatever his freaking name is, how did he know it? Was he listening to the channel, or was Otangelo crying to him about being picked on?
I think Otangelo went over there. Otangelo went over there whimpering.
To be honest, probably both.
Yeah, I don't think Darth listens, so I don't think he would have the patience. Okay, let's see what he says.
Mystery every year. And guess what? This is where the biblical worldview has evidence hands down, because it simply says in Genesis, God made them male and female. But some of these are real mysteries, like what causes ice ages. So that made the top 10. What causes ice ages? They don't really know.
No, I know.
It's a more recent theory by David Alt about Glacial Lake Missoula and its humongous floods. Yeah, they have to believe in more than one Glacial Lake Missoula flood, by the way, about 100 of them now during their last ice age. Anyway, he says, 2001, although theories abound, no one really knows what causes ice ages. They don't know. It's a huge problem to them. And in 2008, these two researchers said in the journal Nature, the most widely read journal in the world, perhaps.
In their defense, they really don't know what the weather's going to be like next Monday.
Nope.
The longest standing puzzle in neuroscience is what caused the Northern Hemisphere ice sheets to come and go. Long-standing, 200-year puzzle. So it is a problem to them. But can we explain it? Can the biblical worldview explain the ice age?
I thought
we need to know when it is.
I thought there was like an actual theory getting a lot of traction about that.
About the ice age?
Yeah, with meteor strikes on the ice sheets.
Okay.
Which corresponds with high water level rising dramatically at the same time.
Okay. No, I hadn't heard anything. That's why I kind of wanted Orge here, because I don't have a whole lot of information about ice ages.
There's never a Orge around when you need one.
If anyone out there is interested, just look up Melt Pulse 1 and Melt Pulse 2.
Melt Pulse 1 and Melt Pulse 2.
Yeah, and then look up meteor strikes ice plate or ice sheets. Sorry.
Okay. Meltwater Pulse 1. Meltwater Pulse 2. That okay. Yep. Okay, I will check it out. But one thing I do know: how thick were the ice sheets?
I think in a couple of places there.
A couple miles?
Yeah, I think there were some places where they were like miles.
Yeah. And how did
basically locked up, a lot of the Earth's ocean water and stuff, and that's why over time the sea levels changed.
6,000 feet at the thickest point. Let's see. Or no, wait a minute. 12,000 feet at the thickest point. So a 12,000 foot block of ice melted how quickly? I think it takes, I don't know. It's just my intuition is that it would have been really difficult for that to happen before the Egyptians built the pyramids, right?
Yeah, basically, it sounds like it would have had to all melted on a Tuesday or in October. Yeah. I don't know, but
well, that's what they're saying. Those melt pulses that I was talking about, they take place in a span less than 100 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the entire sheet melts in 100 years?
Well, there's error bars, right? So they can only get so precise. But the leading theory about how that happens, because it corresponds with the end of the ice age too.
Okay.
Right. And the only thing they could come up with was a bunch of meteorites.
But okay, like when I was looking at Minnesota geology, they said that it took 10,000 years for the ice sheet to recede from Minneapolis to Duluth, which is 200 miles.
Well, I don't even know if those figures will hold up though, right? Because we don't know exactly what melted them.
Yeah, but they have a whole lot of. I would guess that the earth slowly warmed, but they have a whole lot of evidence that that's how long it took for the ice sheets to recede. Like glaciers don't come in. It's like that movie trailer for Glacier. Oh, yeah. It's coming. It's coming. It's like, because for a glacier to form, it takes a lot of snow. I mean, probably, what is it, about 10 or 20 to 1 to go from snow to ice, to solid ice. And so, I mean, that's got to be a slow process. That's why I wish Orge was here and could tell us what some of the timing is on that. But I mean, that bit about, it taking 10,000 years for the ice sheet to recede that far, I thought that was pretty well established geology already, that they had a whole lot of information about that. So, it's obvious when you look at the land down here, there's a whole lot of glacial debris and stuff, but there's a really healthy set of topsoil. And when you go into northern Minnesota, the topsoil is almost non-existent. So it really wasn't that long ago that it disappeared up there, but down here it's kind of a different matter. So,
I mean that depends, because topsoil is built largely. I mean, you have to get trees to grow there first, right?
Right, and they didn't. Yeah, it took a long time for lichen and soil to take hold on that rock up north.
And tree propagation depends on animals.
Yeah,
which I mean, it could have took a very long time to get the vegetation necessary to build topsoil.
Yeah, I think like thousands of years, and like I say, there's some places up there where the topsoil is really like 3 inches thick. There just isn't that much.
Now, I would bet uh, I would bet the error bars on that measurement's pretty large
On the 15,000 and the 5,000 years.
for the melting. Yeah, from the point in which it starts melting to where it ends.
Yeah.
Or going, but whatever.
Well, let's Google that. Oh.
Because that's what I was sitting here thinking before you said it. I was trying to imagine what kind of evidence you could have, and the only thing I could come up with is like carbon-14, I guess.
Yeah.
Be accurate.
That would definitely would be one, and you could find remnants of plants in the topsoil and date them with carbon-14, and that'd be an accurate measurement too, because just 15,000 years. I got a book called Minnesota Geology. I could go drag it out, but that would be hard to do while we're live. So, what caused the end of the ice age? Circa 10,000 years for an ice. Okay, it takes 10,000 years for an ice age to gradually come to an end. Okay, but they have a new theory now that it came to an end too quickly. Was that from Niels Bohr Institute?
Maybe, because I don't. The impact hypothesis, I don't think says that came to an end quickly. I think the theory is it shortened the ice age recession, by like half or more.
Yeah.
So I guess geologically quickly, right? 5,000 years,
Right?
3,000 years, not.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
Years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's listen to this dude and see what he has to say.
Occurred, first of all? Was it before the flood, during the flood, after the flood? Well, it's obvious it's after the flood because these moraines and erratic boulders are all on surface features with thick sediments below them, sedimentary rocks from the flood. So it obviously followed the flood. So we can place it within a transitional climate between the flood and the present climate. This suggests strongly that the flood may have caused the conditions necessary.
So he's saying that basically, 2000 BC, maybe, the ice age happened.
Has he given us dates yet? I wonder if he does.
Well, he said during the flood, right?
Oh, here we go.
Or no, he said after the flood, just now.
Yeah, but I mean, is he a young earther, or is he just saying there is a flood, and then because of the Bible, and then he goes out and looks for it?
I think
so. He's thinking maybe Noah happened 10,000 years ago. I mean,
he's yucky. I think he's yucky. He works for, who does he work for? Michael J. Oard. Where is he? Michael J. Oard. I have him right here. Okay, he works for Creation Ministries International. And aren't they? They're yaks, right?
Yeah, they're yaks in Australia, aren't they?
Is that? I don't know. I got to figure out who runs what and all that stuff at some point. I don't know.
Learn the landscape.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's see what he I think he gets into his theory over the next 15 minutes, so it's probably worth listening. Where's Orge? God damn it.
For such a radical climate change, the ice age, and indeed that is the case. So what about the flood would do it? Well, the flood was a great tectonic event, volcanic event, meteorite impacts, lots of volcanism. So at the end of the flood, you'd have a shrine.
Is there a Genesis passage about the volcanism and the meteorite impacts?
Absolutely none.
Out of volcanic dust and aerosols. An aerosol is a particle about a micron, 1/1,000,000th of a meter in diameter, and they are so small they float up in this cooling, mainly the summer over land. Doesn't affect the water. Also, the fountains of the Great Deep and volcanism would cause a warm ocean at the end of the flood. This is a very key feature, this warm ocean as well.
Yeah, we've already decided that it would have caused a plasma ocean, right? Ocean of plasma.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, how big a volcanic eruption does he think it was?
Well, the fountains of the deep, they thought it shot rocks into the moon. I think, at least Nephilim believes so, and I've heard Standing for Truth repeat that.
The lunar Bukkake theory.
Yeah, Standing for Truth is a loony Bukkake advocate, I believe. I'm pretty sure he said that. He can come in here and tell me different if he's around lurking.
The volcanic aerosols. And these mechanisms would persist after the flood, but wane with time. Wane because the volcanism decreases with time. Also, the warm oceans cool with time. And we can time the ice age by the cooling of the oceans. A very physical mechanism, cooling the oceans. So Genesis flood can fulfill these requirements by the volcanic dust and aerosols during the flood, and even after the flood, there was huge volcanism.
I'm guessing current ecologists could tell you why the ocean couldn't have been a hell of a lot warmer than it is right now for during that time period, or we would not have the life diversity in the ocean that we have right now. And there wouldn't be any coral reefs, I don't think. So.
And the fountains of the Great Deep and volcanism causing the warm water. Here's a schematic.
Oh, fuck you.
Matter of years to evidence that there was a huge amount of volcanism during the Ice Age. Charles says signs of Pleistocene, that is Ice Age volcanicity and earth movements, are visible in all parts of the world. You see a lot of Pleistocene sediments in a lot of ocean sediments from the Pleistocene. So a lot of volcanism occurred during the Ice Age to replenish the particles that fall out with time to keep the Ice Age going. So here's kind of a schematic of warm oceans at high and mid latitudes.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Huge evaporation. And by the way, the key for the warm oceans is the warmer the temperature, the greater the evaporation. For instance, you can evaporate 7 times as much water vapor into the atmosphere at an ocean temperature of 30 degrees centigrade than at 0 degrees centigrade. 86 degrees Fahrenheit versus 32 degrees Fahrenheit. 7 times. And by the way, it would be at mid and high latitudes where the oceans would be a lot warmer than today's ocean. So you have a lot more water vapor in the air at high and mid latitudes, and volcanism and dust in the upper atmosphere falling on the cold land. That's kind of a schematic of it. So do we need 100,000 years for an ice age, or even 40,000 as the secular scientists claim for each of their ice ages? So how rapid was the ice age? This is my evidence that the ice age was very rapid right here. This is it, Jenkins. Indisputable proof that the ice age caught these people completely off guard. It dumped on before he got out of the outhouse. No, seriously. I had to estimate the starting temperature right after the flood and the ending temperature when it reached glacial maximum. So what I did was the cooling of the ocean drives the ice age, times it. It'll cool by cooling mechanisms, mainly conduction of heat to the colder.
Can we just chuck it up to speed up to saying ice age, therefore God?
Yeah.
How dare you take my line? That's what I said to start with.
Okay, now the ocean went from, what is the average temperature of the ocean? Average surface temperature, 20 degrees centigrade. It ranges from more than 30, let's see, 0 to high. What is he talking about here with this graph? So he's got the ocean going from 30 in 500 years down to 10 and then down to 5. Is that the average age or average temperature of the ocean? Temperature of ocean water. The average temperature of the ocean surface water is about 17 degrees Celsius. And let me see here. What is the average temperature of all the water? I don't know what he's talking about here. I mean, what the hell is it? 30 degrees centigrade, the average temperature?
Well, notice he doesn't put a years BCE or whatever. He just says, there's like 500 years of glacial, 700 years of something, smack dab. But it would have to be over a course of at least 6,000 years, and that's not including that's including the time between the supposed creation and the flood.
Well, this would be 3,900 years ago here. So he's saying 500 years to cool. So he does have 500 years.
This is just silly.
700 years, I think, is this where his little dip it is? Let's see.
For air and evaporation. Evaporation is approximately 3 times as efficient as conduction. So by evaporation and conduction, you cool the surface layer of the ocean, and it sinks down to the bottom, and you have a huge overturn of the ocean as it cools. Significant effect for the bottom of the ocean, which no creationist has really got into yet. So, based on the cooling, the cooling versus the warming temperature would be the sunshine. So, I use this. It's called a heat budget equation. It's just like you turn on the heater and the air conditioner in a room, and you see which one's stronger. Well, in this case, the air conditioner was stronger, ended up cooling the room. In this case, cooling the ocean. And so it cools with time. We can time it. So I assumed we went from 30.
This probably describes. He probably pulled out his map of Narnia and his charts for Narnia. This is probably Narnia he's describing, because it's not the real world.
Wait, what? What he said? He said evaporation is more energy efficient than induction. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
But those are like comparable things. They're
not at all. No. What the fuck? Yeah,
induction causes evaporation.
He's quite the scientist.
Like what he called a diagram a schematic.
Yeah. Oh, and he had that little cartoon drawing. That was pretty cool. Anyway, wow. Wow. This is their PhD. Or no, wait a minute. He's not a PhD. He's a weatherman. He's a meteorologist. I think he's got a master's in meteorology. So
30 degrees centigrade average down to 10 degrees centigrade average. By the way, the average now is 4 degrees centigrade. So you reach glacial maximum before
why am I not finding
you reach
that?
The temperature today. So with 20 degrees centigrade cooling, I plugged it into the heat balance equation and used maximum minimums for these variables because there's no way to be accurate. I just wanted to bracket. So I got a maximum of 1765 years and a minimum of 174 years to reach glacial maximum. Best estimate was 500 years. Then you got to melt all this. First of all, you got to figure out what the average height of the ice sheets was. So I used maximum minimums for variables and got a range. And the best estimate for the northern hemisphere is 2,300 feet. For Antarctica, about 4,000 feet. Those are the best estimates. And then you got to melt it. And the best way to melt snow and ice is to use a physical equation of
congratulations,
uses physics of snow and ice melt. That uses the heating terms, subtract the cooling terms. Once the ice gets up to 32 degrees, more heating causes net melting, and it starts to melt. That's how it works. So I use maximum minimums for this heat budget equation for snow and ice. The main variable is the albedo, or the reflectivity of the snow. That's a very key variable, and the climate models are horrible at modeling the change of albedo, which changes radically snow ages, for instance. So I use maximum minimums for the albedo, and I got a range along the edge, 40 to 100 years to melt. Best estimate, 70 years. For the average ice thickness was 40% of the secular scientists, and there's lots of evidence for that thinner ice sheets than what they claim. I have 2 articles for the Scandinavian ice sheet and the Laurentide ice sheet in the Journal of Creation of the last couple of years. So time to melt, the interior is about 200 years, but the periphery about 70 years. The periphery is along the edge. So the total time for an ice age is only 700 years. This is an example where we use different variables from them. We use biblical variables, the flood, and we get a rapid ice age of 700 years. And they claim there's more than one. They used to say there's 4 ice ages. For 60 years, they used to claim 4 ice ages. In fact, everywhere they looked, they saw 4 ice ages. Now, that's interesting. Why did they only see 4? Well, actually, when you look at the glacial debris on the continents, you see evidence in most areas of only 1. So was there more than 1 ice age? Well, actually, I believe there was 2 ice ages. There was one before the flood around the Garden of Eden. And this is the Earth's first ice age right here. I've got to explain this a little bit. In that when God created man and woman, he created us with no sin, and we had perfect communication at the time. But it doesn't work so well in general. Most areas you see evidence.
Does anybody care about his jokes?
No.
He has no jokes. Maybe they're attempts at humor, but no, I do not care for his jokes.
Look,
okay.
I think it's funny, just like the Christian side hug song is funny. Like
the what?
Have you ever seen the Christian side hug song?
No.
Men don't hug men because that's gay, so you hug them with the sides.
Oh no, I haven't. There's a song.
There used to be. I'm sure you can still find it.
Oh, we got to look that up, man.
It's I remember one of the chorus lines. Give me that Christian side hug.
Yeah, I think what they meant to say is men don't hug men because I'm insecure about my sexuality.
Yeah. Okay. We had a big talk about that the other day, didn't we, Scott?
So just a single ice age.
Yes, we did.
I mean, men hugging men. Yeah.
Like this quote from the journal Geology. A single late, the title of this, a single late Wisconsin Laurentide glaciation, Edmonton area in southwest Alberta. Edmonton's in central Alberta. Great place ice sheets to occur. And so they're saying that there was only a single one. It was in the late Wisconsin and of the Laurentide. Anyway, that's what you see. And notice what they say in that. Glacial reconstructions commonly what? Assume a multiple glaciation hypothesis in all areas that contain a till cover. Till is glacial is jargon for glacial debris left over. So they assume it. And if they see some complications, maybe some till here, or maybe some sand and another till, you see, oh, that's two ice ages. That's how they did it. And that's how they came to 4 ice ages until the 1970s. And then the Milankovitch mechanism took over and claimed there's 50 now in the Pleistocene based on deep sea cores. And how does that work? Well, they take these cores and they measure all these variables down there and they wiggle around an average. So then they say, when it wiggles this way, it's a glacial. When it wiggles this way, it's interglacial. I think these are climate changes during the ice age, but they would say each one is a separate ice age. So we would interpret them a lot different than they would. So another question, they claim the glacial interglacial cycle is still here. Therefore, the next ice age is about due. And will there be a future ice age? Well, a lot of people think so. In fact, some people even think global warming will trigger it, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, here's the challenge.
Hell will freeze over before Jesus comes back. Maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know.
Give us about the next ice age. They say we are still in the glacial interglacial cycle. Interglacials last about 10,000 years. The last ice age melted 10,000 years ago. We're about due. And in fact, in the 1970s, for those people that like global warming, we actually had global cooling from 1945 to 1975.
Okay, this guy, he's made 2 hints now that he thinks global warming is bunk. So there was one earlier where he said something about the earth warming just a little bit, I want to point out, or something like that. Anyway.
Global cooling for 30 years during when carbon dioxide was going up tremendously. That's why there's more to all this global warming than what the hype is saying. Yeah. Anyway, we had global cooling, and sea ice increased. And so a lot of books were written about the next ice age coming. Can we survive it? Articles were published in Newsweek and so forth. And so they said that ice age was coming. Anyway, in the New York Times, this was published. In the past, if the past is any indication, the Earth is at the end of another such warm period, poised to descend into a new ice age. That's from the New York Times. And we believe everything we read in the newspaper, do we not? I don't hardly believe anything from the newspapers anymore. Anyway, the rainbow was a sign that there'll never be another flood. And the flood caused the ice age. Therefore, there'll never be another ice age. So those out there in the audience that were sweating it can relax. And by the way, this gets back to my title of that the Bible explains it. Only the Bible can explain it because of the flood. Now, at this point, I go through the bonus features if I have time, which I do in this case. And besides the ice age, you had a lot of other things going on after the flood. Many, many different things going on. Just think of that, all that moisture being added by the warm oceans. That would cause a lot more precipitation in areas not glaciated. The climate would be a lot different. The general circulation would be different. Things would be quite different during the ice age. So I've gone into other areas. There's a lot of areas left to go. And these are features explained by this post-flood rapid ice age that the secular scientists cannot. And I'll go through these quickly, one by one. In my publications and resources, I go through these in a lot more detail. Anyway, the first one, deserts that were once wet. In Southwest United States, we had all these lakes. Even in Death Valley down here, which I don't show, had a lake 600 feet deep. Here's a lake right here around the Great Salt Lake. It was about 10 times the size of Great Salt Lake, 800 feet deep, while Great Salt Lake right now is only 12 feet deep. So all these lakes in the Southwest United States that is semi-arid today in these enclosed basins, how did they get there? Well, I would say the flood probably filled them up to start with. As the flood drained, it kept water was left in pockets. And they actually increased. We know that they actually grew during the Ice Age.
Oh my God. Okay. What do you guys think?
I
Well,
don't think
I think he's stealing little snippets from science and trying to place them within a couple hundred years, a few thousand years ago, and that's just stupid.
Yeah, and he's making some. I want to hear what he says about woolly mammoth. So we have to go on.
I just want to point out he made the conclusion that because no more flood, no more ice age. I'm not sure how not having a flood doesn't mean God couldn't just snap his fingers and cover the earth in ice.
I don't know.
I will probably say a little bit more about that soon. But anyway, you find shorelines from these lakes all over the place. Like here's Lake Bonneville shoreline. There's several shorelines.
Jesus Christ.
The highest one is here at the Lake Bonneville level and the Provo level.
So he's using evidence from basically the inland sea, I believe, and claiming it's evidence of a recent ice age, sort of.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay.
The lower one. Anyway, you see shorelines all around where these lakes were. Here's one in east of the Sierra Mountains in California, where you had a monolake that was about 800 feet deeper, called Lake Russell, and here's a shoreline on it. This shoreline happens to be right on a terminal moraine coming out of a valley from the eastern Sierras. So the what's called pluvial lakes were associated with glaciation because it's right. The shoreline's cut right on an end moraine. And here is southeast Oregon. You find some low level shoreline features in the desert areas of eastern Oregon. And the Sahara was wet. In fact, people lived in the Saharas. There's a huge amount of evidence of people and animals. Like this drawing, you find tens of thousands of these petroglyphs on rocks in the Sierras. Sierra was green. In fact, James Weller in the Great Sierra says this: the Sierra is a veritable art gallery of the prehistoric paintings. The evidence is enough to show that the Sierra was one of the well-populated areas of the prehistoric world. Yet there is man's work in the most inaccessible corners of the desert. Literally thousands of figures of tropical and aquatic animals, enormous herds of cattle, hunters armed with bows and boomerangs, and even domestic scenes of women and children in the circular huts in which they lived. It was green at one time, during the Ice Age, and even after for a while.
They're basing that on art, on rocks. Did I get that right?
Yeah, the Sahara was once, well, there was a period of time like 3 million years ago where it had been part of a sea, and it dried up. But then there was also lakes in the area, but because of that, well, what's that cycle called? That due to the wobbling of the earth.
Oh yeah.
Access.
Yeah.
So what?
Precession.
No, well, maybe that's the official name, but it's a Milankovic cycle or something like that.
Yeah,
where depending, because of the elliptical orbit of Earth around the sun, because the axis of the Earth tilts within a certain range, then the Sahara is a good spot when we're closer to the sun. Generally, when that section of the globe is tilted towards the sun, generally it'll get hotter, and then when it tilts back and is not as close to the sun, then the weather will become more moderate.
It's a 20,000 year cycle. It looks like.
Yeah.
They claim it'll be green again in 15,000 years. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in time for Jesus.
So deserts were once wet. This could be explained by the greater amount of water vapor given off by the warm ocean. The woolly mammoths in Siberia. There's a woolly mammoth. It's a small mammoth. The Columbian mammoth was about 3-4 feet taller, the largest mammoth in the world at that time. Spiraling horns, had 3 layers of hair. The outside was about a meter long, a hump on its head, a hump on its back, and a sloping in the front of its back, shoulders, and a slumping back. Anyway, those mammoths are found all through the northern hemisphere. You can see this red area here, but not in the central areas and northern areas where the ice occurred, which indicates they're associated with the Ice Age. Some of them are in the southern part of where the ice occurred, and they either were there before the ice got in there or afterwards. So they all went extinct. And them and many other animals. and they don't know why the mammoths disappeared. In this book by Larry Agenbrod and Lisa Nelson says, why did mammoths disappear from the earth? This question remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the past. Anyway, it can be solved by the post-flood rapid ice age, where probably about midway in the ice, or early in the ice age, they got up into Siberia, crossed into Alaska, down the ice-free corridor in the United States, and some made into Central America. So this can all be explained by the rapid.
Okay, what? What is he saying? That their extinction can be explained by the ice age?
Yeah, everything that the Bible needs to be explained can be explained through the ice age
And the flood.
at the flood. Well, after the flood and then the ice age afterwards.
But okay, so what? I mean, the ice age killed the mammoths, whatever the fuck, however the fuck you say that. Something's not gelling for me here. I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. How far does he? What the fuck? I don't know. Anyway, what else did he say? Okay, first of all, ocean 30 degrees average temperature. I don't think it could have supported the life after the flood. Number two, the mammoths jumped off Mount Ararat, jumped out of the boat, rolled down the mountain, ran lickety-split into North America and grew hair. Is that what happened to the elephant that were on the ark? Or did the elephants on the ark already have hair, and the ones that went south to Africa lost their hair? All of this in about a couple thousand years. Or actually sooner, because I don't know. Yeah, I can't.
Post-flood ice age. And why they would live in Siberia? Well, you can find out that if you took off that sea ice in the Arctic Ocean and let the temperature of the water at the freezing point of seawater, which is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, what kind of winter temperatures would you have in the Arctic and in Siberia? Well, this is in centigrade. The North Pole would be 40 degrees centigrade warmer in the winter, 20 degrees in northern Siberia. So a lot warmer in Siberia, just getting rid of the sea ice and keeping the temperature of the ocean water at 28 degrees Fahrenheit. But it was probably 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the start of the ice age, indicating you'd have a lot warmer temperatures in the winter over Asia. So the animals, some of them that can't tolerate much cold, can round the Bering Land Bridge into the United States that way. And of course, there's all kinds of onshore flow of warm air into Alaska and Siberia. Also, there's a strange mix of cold and warm weather animals and plants in glacial debris. This is called disharmonious associations. And we can explain the cold ones during the ice age, but what are these warm weather animals doing there in plants? By the way, this is not an anomaly. It's the rule of a mixture of cold and warm type animals. In fact, this book, Quaternary Extinctions, Graham and Lundelius, say late Pleistocene communities were characterized by the coexistence of species that today are allopatric, that is not climatically associated, and presumably ecologically incompatible. Disharmonious associations have been documented.
He said the poles were 86 degrees centigrade. Is that what he said? 30 degrees centigrade, or no, 86 Fahrenheit. The poles, and he said that then it warmed up to, what did he say, 60 degrees centigrade? Isn't that a little warm? It's pretty warm. What is it? Is anybody else catching this shit? I mean, that's 140 degrees. Or did he switch between centigrade and Fahrenheit mid-sentence? I don't know. He did say centigrade, didn't he? Or did he? Are you guys around?
I
Hello?
am muted.
Huh?
I am undisputed. Sorry, I'm distracted. Praise can't tell me if his God exists or not.
Oh, told you my God is greater than existence. It's an ontological error. What don't you understand about that? Okay, so his God doesn't exist because it's greater than existence?
Yeah, he doesn't understand by saying that it's greater than existence. He's just saying that it's not real.
Oh, so you guys are having a little side war with praise out here, eh?
Yeah.
We're Molecular Alchemy. We're reviewing a climate change video, but I think I'm done with this for now. What do you think, guys? Fuck it. I don't know. There might be some highlights, but I mean, this guy is whack. What does everybody else want to talk about?
I apologize for my silence because I did step into the kitchen to prepare a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, good idea. Did you put butter on it?
Say what?
Did you put butter on it?
No, picklewini mash.
Mush. Picklewini mush.
Mash, mush. What's the difference?
Okay, if you make a peanut butter sandwich, you have to put a half an inch of butter and a half an inch of peanut butter. Well, no.
Yeah. That must be some Minnesotan way of doing peanut butter that I've never heard of.
With butter? Really? Oh my God, you got to try it. It's fucking unbelievable. Yeah. Best thing ever. Just take a stick of butter, put peanut butter on it, stick a popsicle stick in there, stick it in the fridge for a little while, and take it out and eat that.
Hey, Serb, he says you can't put God in a box. God can't be put in a box. There's no box at all.
Wait. If you're saying God can't be put in the box, I mean the label God is a box.
Yeah.
He just logically said that God is not God.
Yep. Oh my goodness. I need to go take my brain out and vacuum it.
You do?
Yep.
Does it get dusty when you hit 70?
It gets dusty when you listen to Standing for Truth's channel. It gets like not dusty, but it gets like cobwebs and it gets all sorts of gooey shit in it, sticky stuff. You know, kind of like the cracks in your couch if you eat on the couch. Yeah, that's my brain.
Hello, just one quick question. Can God create a box he can get in?
Anyway.
Can God create a box that he can't get out of? Can God create a paper sack that even wet he can't break out of? Sorry. Keep going with that one.
Yep.
Well, I won't say the one that I've got. I think some of you may be around long enough to know that I made a great argument for God's creating. No, I can't go there. It's too much.
This is not going well for Praise. Is your God real? God is greater than what you call real. Praise goes right back. So he's not real then?
You call real. Oh, word.
I mean, he's just proving atheism.
Nice. Good job.
This is actually the last argument I had with Praise on his channel. I just decided to rehash it because he was in here trying to be a troll.
Yeah, you just heard it right here. Praise converts to atheism.
He said God's not real.
Yeah, I mean, if God doesn't exist and isn't real, then the atheist is right.
God is greater than what you call real.
According to your standards.
Yeah.
Well, that's just your argument from incredulity, Praise. Sorry. Jesus.
Well, obviously, Cerberus's standards of real are below reality, I guess.
I guess.
It's making a lot of sense to me.
Too bad this show doesn't have a host.
I know. Why does he keep writing Dr. Phil?
Who does?
Praise. It's like the third or fourth time he's written Dr. Phil with an exclamation mark.
Probably an inside joke between him.
Must be.
He could be watching Dr. Phil at this, while he's posting. So, pretty sure Dr. Phil would be his therapist. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like that girl. What was that girl? Cash you outside. Whatever. Cash you outside.
Yeah. Praise doesn't come here too often. Hi, Praise. I don't know what the hell. Like, weren't you up all fucking night doing a stream last night, or did you miss a night?
Who, me?
No, Praise. Well, you too. You're just as bad as him.
Oh no,
So-
I only did a stream. I did a stream this morning because I went to bed at like 8:30 and I got up at 3:30.
Wow. So what is going on between you and Praise? I've seen a lot of back and forth, but you guys get kind of biblical
He's butthurt.
about
The slavery discussion. He didn't like that close to an hour long conversation that we had, and he had to consider some things, and then he turned around the next day and no, and then blocked me, and then labeled me persona non grata, and then just basically turned into a shit show. And then he did a stream where he showed me very inebriated talking to one dumbass chaos theory. Like that was going to hurt me. I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
Why don't they just admit that God was a slaver? I don't know. You know that.
I don't even
God,
know why
all-
it matters.
Huh?
Right? If God is the standard for morality, why would they even think it's bad and something to be avoided?
Right. Are they afraid we're gonna plow down all the God statues if we find out that God owns slaves?
No, it's just that I think they actually realize that God has to conform to their personal morality, otherwise they don't think he's real.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He says, Jay is, I try to be praised. I try to be funny. I try to make conversations about the Bible and religion and philosophy funny so people find it more enjoyable. So they're just sitting around listening to somebody like One Way who's drunk off his ass to avoid the pain in his teeth, spout off goofy shit to you about philosophy, which you fucking forget the next day. That's funny.
Hey, Praise, I asked you a question out there. Don't avoid it. Can your God be?
Oh no. What are you doing?
I'm just reducing it down even more and more to see how far he'll go in denying his own God.
What the hell is this shit? Dr. Mark, Dr. Luke, and Dr. John? Are they like Dr. Phil?
Oh, I don't know. I know Dr. John. He was a musician.
Huh. Oh, Dr. Mark and Dr. Luke.
He's
I'm not-
referencing the Bible.
We know what your definition. Yes, our understanding of what a slave is has to meet your definition of what a slave is, which is a slave to debt, not a debt slave. You basically use debt slavery to mean a person who is a debt to slave or a slave to their debt, not actually owned as property by another person.
Yeah, and they do it voluntarily according to them, right?
Like basketball players signing for a big contract.
And also
Football
part
player.
of that debt slavery, because they try to compare it to indentured servitude, is you actually selling one of your children as a slave to pay off the debt. So it's not necessarily that person, but it's possibly a person in your family as well. So
yeah,
the ethics gets worse and worse the more you talk about it.
Yeah, wasn't there something about like they get to keep the wife and kids or something if something
Yeah.
like that?
Oh, it's in Exodus 21. It's when the slave. So if it's an Israelite slave who sells himself into slavery with a wife and children, after the 6 years, on the 7th year, he's released, and anything that he came into slavery with, so his wife and his children will go out with him. But if he sells himself into slavery, and while he's a slave, he is given a wife by his master. If he leaves on the 7th year, the wife that he was given by the master and any children that they may or may not have had stay with the master as well.
It kind of sounds like United States, like divorce law in the United States. Like if you make money and after you're married, or if you go to college and start a career after you're married, you have to split it 2 ways.
Yeah.
Or something? I don't know.
Yeah, in this sense, it's akin to property law, because the Israelite was given a slave, right, a property to the slave to have while he was a slave, but it's ultimately both of them for that time are his property.
Yeah.
I got a question for the Bible people out there. So given those two standards, right, what if he goes into slavery with a wife and then while in slavery they have a child?
The child stays with the wife.
Okay.
Anything produced, any children produced by a marriage where the wife is given to the slave by a master is the property of the master.
That's the way it reads to me in the Old Testament.
That's in Exodus 21.
Well, yeah. I'm just wondering because this is anything he comes into slavery with.
Yes, if he has a wife and children when he goes into slavery, then on the 7th year when he leaves, his wife and children go with him, because he came into slavery with them.
Yeah, but when they say because they came into slavery with him, but what if the child is produced while in slavery and didn't come into slavery with him?
Oh, by his wife that he came into slavery with?
Yeah.
Then I believe the child would go out with him.
Right.
It's not real specific, but since it's his wife since it's him and his wife that he went into slavery and he took his wife with him, any children produced as just by byproduct. That is, I mean, it doesn't get into that detail. It would even be, you'd almost wonder if they would even be allowed to produce because it could cause a possible hardship because the child isn't technically the master's.
Oh, and what is it? He's running. He said God is, and then I just replaced existence with is, and he said that doesn't make sense. And I said, then why'd you say it? What does is mean to you there? And then he decided to leave.
Oh, praise! You can unblock me from your channel, by the way. You've got enough gangsta mods in there, and that if I even so much as write something, they'll freaking time me out. So I don't even know why you even bother having me blocked. Fucking pussy.
I need some gangsta mods here.
Yep.
Yep. Need more of them. Oh, anything else happening out there besides?
Are you saying? Hold on there, Praise. Not Praise. Sorry, Speed. Are you saying that not enough people are getting kicked out of live chat?
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were not meeting some sort of secret quota of yours.
Well,
we talk about those when you're not around, Scott.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, nobody noticed it the other day, but I very quietly took Danny's rent away.
Oh, yeah.
And why would I do that?
You horrible bastard.
Why would I take Danny's wrench away? Let me see. My hope was that some of my gangsta mods, would do the job for me. But
we can't take away his mod. We can't take away his wrench. That's on you.
I took his wrench away. Yeah, I took his wrench away. And
if he has a wrench, we can't do anything about him.
Right, but I took it away, so that means that now it's up to the jury. Okay.
Oh, so you want? Oh, I see. So you want mob justice. I see how it is.
Mob justice.
No, don't kick him around too much. I'm getting to the point where I can figure out the contradictions in his beliefs. Right.
So that?
He's a Platonist. There you go, Danny. So I want to go over. Yeah, I want to go over.
What contradiction?
Oh, that scared me.
So is the engine a complex form, or is it a simple?
Well, I take engines to be complex.
Okay, so then you think abstract objects are real, right?
Yes.
Okay, but isn't an engine an abstract object?
No.
No, there is no abstract idea of engine.
Well, that's controversial. Right. I'm inclined to say that there could be an abstract object that's discovered, but that's not an engine itself.
How would you discover an abstract object?
I suppose you reason about things.
So why can't you reason that an engine is an abstract object?
Well, I'm just telling you it's a controversial. There's some people think that like even things like Harry Potter are abstract objects, and J.K. Rowling discovered Harry Potter and the story, and then wrote it down. And there's some people think that those are all conceptualized and they're all mental. And I'm on the former side but I can be convinced otherwise.
Okay, so what reasoning have you done to remove an engine from being an abstract object?
Well, engines engage in causal relations.
Well, sir, isn't that how basically like true empiricism, doesn't he use like motors and turbines as an abstract when defining, for his intelligent design argument?
I think he does. It's been so long since I talked to him, I don't remember.
I'm just saying, yeah, he's never. Well, that's not really an abstract; it's a metaphor. Either way.
Yeah. So, what's the contradiction?
Oh, it's because I see no reason why an engine isn't an abstract object.
I didn't hear a contradiction.
Yeah, and you also think it's complex, but you also don't think complex.
Look, causal. Look, do you know what I take an abstract object to be?
Go ahead
I
and
guess
tell us.
not.
It's just an object that doesn't engage in causal relations.
Okay, give us an example.
How does the mental idea of an engine have causal relations?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's mental. Abstract objects are considered not to be mental.
Oh, so they're just hypothesized to not be mental.
That's the meaning of an abstract object. I think you're conflating maybe a concept and an abstract object.
No, I just don't see how an abstract object can be anything other than mental.
So, in what sense
I'm
are
not
they
I'm
real?
not a conceptualist. I'm a Platonist.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the question of how. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, no, I understand that you think the object exists, right?
Yeah.
Those objects exist. But I always assumed that a Platonist thought the object exists in a mental state.
Oh, that's actually the you couldn't be more wrong.
Oh, so it's just full on no evidence asserting they exist.
Well, that's just a category error. Evidence doesn't apply to abstract objects. That's like asking.
Yeah, exactly. Evidence does not apply to them. Got it. That's exactly what I said.
But presumably, do you accept a priori knowledge?
I can, sure.
Okay, that's not evidentiary.
Okay, how does that relate to abstracts?
The point is that he's saying something like, what we can know about abstract objects is not on an evidential basis.
Okay.
But
I didn't say you needed evidence. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute.
You're just asserting it without it.
How do you discover an abstract object? Okay, abstract objects are real, and you discover them.
Yeah.
He thinks he does do it with reason.
Not evidential.
Not evidential.
How do you discover them?
I told you, you reason about things.
You reason. Okay, you discover them by reason. Okay. So engines were discovered by reason.
Engines? Well, that's a good question. I told you I'm on the side of there being abstract objects like Harry Potter and a Model T, but I can be convinced otherwise. Those things might not exist.
Engines and don't exist.
Wait. So you think Harry Potter exists as an abstract object?
I already told you I'm inclined to agree with Peter Van Wagen on that.
Okay, but would you call Harry Potter you wouldn't call Harry Potter a simple object, would you?
The abstract object?
Yeah, I mean, he has fingers and a scar. Like, he has defining characteristics that are parts.
Yeah. So I think we want to distinguish the abstract object and the concrete object, right? So there could be Harry Potter, okay, which conforms to a particular abstract object. But I agree with you that it could be the case that there's just Harry Potter and there's no abstract object.
I'm just talking about the abstract object that you said you're inclined to agree exists.
Well, there are two kinds of abstract objects. Like the less controversial ones are going to be like numbers and propositions, right? The more controversial set of abstract objects, which I told you I could be convinced away from, is the sorts of things that represent concreta.
In what sense do you mean that abstract objects are real?
In what sense? We can talk about them. They have properties.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait. So an engine is an abstract object? I'm not sure how an engine is not an abstract object then.
Okay, well, the engine in my car is not an abstract object. We agree?
Oh, yeah, but we're not talking about...
So when we're talking about a possible world, we can talk about the world in which I'm a millionaire and I have a Lamborghini, okay? And in that world, we can talk about engines, the engine of that Lamborghini, but it's not real, right? But we're still talking about its properties.
Hear that, everybody? Danny's got a Lamborghini. Party at Danny's place.
I'm not actually talking about a non-existent reality. I'm talking about the one we're in right now.
But I'm saying that abstract object, the Lamborghini, if it exists, if abstract objects are considered to be necessary, then that abstract object would also exist in this world.
I mean, I know you say you're a Platonist, but you going by Plato's perfect forms
No. Platonism doesn't mean that anymore.
anymore, but
I thought Plato was dead.
well, yeah, but Platonism
it's
still lives
unfortunate.
on.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Tanya, but I'll just tell you, in philosophy, when we say Platonism, really that just relates to Neoplatonism. It doesn't relate to Plato's ideas anymore.
Well, okay. Then, in order to not confuse people, why don't you say Neoplatonism?
No, y'all can just learn philosophy.
I mean, that's not an answer to my question.
I'm just saying that if a scientist uses different terminology that's not used colloquially, I don't think he should be obligated to drop his technical terms to conform to the peons.
Wow, you are arrogant as fuck.
Anyway, so let's simplify this. So, do you think engines exist? And you
didn't have to hide them.
I kicked him. He said peon.
Yeah, I think engines exist. There's an engine on my car.
Okay, but yesterday you told us complex objects don't exist.
I'm saying that the truth conditions for what establishes an engine are agent dependent.
So they can exist as long as they're agent dependent.
As long as an agent construes an engine, then there's an engine.
Otherwise, there aren't.
I don't think that conforms to the part of nihilism that you were arguing about. Was it yesterday or the day before?
It is confusing when we talk about anti-realism versus. Let me explain it. If there's realism, when we talk about realism versus anti-realism, we're talking about essentially that debate is about truth conditions, whether they're agent dependent or non-agent dependent, like subjective, objective kind of. And I just take complex things, for the notion of complexity and simple, the notion of parts and whole, to be construed construed by agents. So in that sense, it's not real. But there is a sense, right, an equivocal. So there is a kind of equivocation here where there are engines, just that the truth conditions are going to relate to agency. So they're not real in the sense that, like, there are objective truths about the world.
Well, I would agree that separation is arbitrary, but I would also say all truth conditions are reliant on agency.
Yeah, I'm not an idealist. I think there are problems with idealism. I'm partial to transcendental idealism, but that's not the view you just espoused. It seems like.
Oh, so yeah, I wasn't trying to say. I was just saying what I thought, but I don't see how this saying that it's real in one sense gets you out of saying that they're not real. Period.
Look, it is ambiguous, but you understand. If you understand the moral?
Well, that's where contradictions live.
No, listen.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna teach you how philosophers talk about these things.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in moral discourse or moral dialectics, do you understand the dialectic between realism and anti-realism there?
I do.
Okay. So if you're a moral realist, that means that you think that there are moral facts about the world. If you're a moral anti-realist, you think that they're moral truths, but they're agent dependent. So that's the way that the term realism is being used when it comes to mereological things. Do you understand now?
Well, that's
it's not like the subjectivist thinks that there are no truths about morality, right? The anti-realist is going to say those truths are mind dependent.
Oh yeah, but like I said before, I don't see how that actually gets you out of saying that they're not real. Period.
I don't know what you mean by real. Period.
Well, that's what the nihilist position is. They're not real.
No, they're not real in the sense that I just gave you.
But they are real in the sense that I asked you if
you're just real. Equivocating.
I'm asking if they're real. I'm using
what sense? Are you using the sense in which I just expressed to you, or are you equivocating?
So are you saying the nihilist position that you had before means that they're not real, but only in one sense?
Right. Just like in the moral sense, you know, the dialectic between anti-realism and realism, that's the same sense of real that's being used in that other dialectic about mereological categories or parts and whole relations.
wouldn't that mean you're using the word real in two different ways? Wouldn't that
That's
make
a dumpster fire coming.
So like I said, when the subjectivist says there is a moral truth, right? That is different than the whole real, anti-realistic, anti-real usages of the words, right? Now, if you understand that dialectic, you're going to understand the dialectic that I was participating in with Dessel.
Oh no, I understand what you're pointing out, but so what you're saying is when I asked you if they were real, you shouldn't have said yes. You should have said only in one way.
I did say that.
Well, you didn't.
I was very clear about what I meant between realism and anti-realism. I said word for word.
That was after.
Excuse me. When the sufficient conditions for real in this case is that they're mind independent. That's what I told you. Okay, I said that earlier also in the other discussion. Now, there is another sense in which I can say there is an engine or there are parts, but that's going to be agent dependent and thus not right. I'm an anti-realist about that. So I agree with you that the language is ambiguous, right? But that's no fault of my own. That's just the way the dialectic goes. And it's true that there's a sense of real or existence. Look, existence is an ambiguous term. Actuality is less ambiguous. Okay, so things like, for instance, if we're talking about a world in which I am a person that's a millionaire, right? There is such a person named Danny who's a millionaire. That sense of is different than this is in which I'm talking about the actual world, right? So it's a little bit more complicated than you think.
Hey, Danny, you've been talking about Lamborghinis and being a millionaire. Are you short on cash? Do you need a loan or anything to tide you over?
I mean, if you have a donation, then I'll certainly take it.
Yeah,
set up on your channel and we can.
No, don't do that. I'd feel bad.
Well, I'd hate for you to go to starve.
I hear those Lamborghinis get really good gas mileage nowadays.
I'll just eat Caravis for breakfast or something.
So I got what? So do you think engines take actions?
I take an action to be an intention plus a behavior. Is that what you mean?
Oh no, that what I was asking you. Like that would enlighten me to that also.
No, I don't think engines act.
They just perform, I guess. Maybe.
Like you could say that they behave. Yeah.
Well, okay. Which engines are we? We're talking about. Still talking about car engines, right?
Well, any engine.
Here's a question I had, if I may ask, and this is just a random thought that comes up when we're talking about do engines behave or do they act? Besides people with minds, or besides minds, can objects have agency but not have mind?
Well, do you accept the distinction between subject and object?
To me, it's a squishy thing, but
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how are you using the word object here? Some people mean object to mean any kind of thing. Okay. Some people use object to refer to non-agent, right? So, and then that would answer your question, right? But so like there are things in the world. I mean, there's a sense in which I am a thing. I'm a mind, right? Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't call myself an object. I would call myself a subject, right?
In fact, we often object to being objectified.
Hey,
exactly.
Real quick though, this conversation is really kicking up Stephanie Trenton's woo.
Every time I talk, Stephanie goes crazy on the chat.
What is she saying?
Apparently,
she's taking exception to equivocating on real. Pretty much.
Apparently, you're like her muse, Danny.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I need to ask something really quick, right? Considering ourselves objects is not really demeaning. We are physical objects, right? We just categorize ourselves different from a car or a ball.
Yeah, but do you think objects can be subjects?
I mean, what's the definition of a subject?
Yeah, so you could be like subject of an interrogation.
Then you're just using the word, Yeah, then you're just using. If you think that objects can be subjects, you're just using a different sense of the word than I'm using.
Well, no, like I asked you, what is the definition of subject?
Point of view.
Well, okay. In that case, in that case, I would say they were all, that everything in the universe is an object, but only some objects can have subjects. Humans
Sure.
can have subjects. Animals can be argued to have subjects.
Yeah, then you're just meaning all you mean by an object, which is fine. This people do use the word this way. You by an object you mean thing or thing in existence, right? Sure, right. But then I'm saying there's another distinction between object and subject they're using the terms differently than the person that would just refer to a thing as an object.
I mean, it can be argued that the universe itself is a subject, but that's another rabbit
Yeah, I'm
hole.
not a panpsychist. Yeah,
But
or actually, that doesn't involve panpsychism.
Midnight in this sense, all it is, subject is something that has like a consciousness or a mind or something.
Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's why I said point of view.
And everything that doesn't would be like an object.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing, because humans exist in the universe, we're objects also. We just have subject. We have a point of view. That was my point.
Yeah, but then it just seems like you're using the word object as like thing in existence or something.
Well, yeah, but we exist in existence. I don't see the problem of calling ourselves an object, but saying that we have a point of view.
No, I see what you're saying. I think it's just a terminological thing.
Okay, whatever.
So would your position of nihilism, would that apply to Platonic objects?
No, I don't think so, because they're not made of parts.
I mean, circle's a Platonic object, right?
Right. Yeah.
How many degrees does a circle have?
360.
So it has 360 sections that are wedges that can come together and make a circle.
Sections.
Yeah, that's what
you
degrees
can
are.
divide. Yeah, you
Wait,
can
hold
divide
on.
them
Sorry, Jay, to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine. I was just adding on to what.
I just wanted to say that I believe it's a sphere that's a Platonic object, but a circle works just as well. I guess,
I think you want to distinguish an essential property from a part. So, like, a bachelor is an unmarried man. Unmarried there is not a part of bachelor. It's a essential property of a bachelor. Right? The idea of parts is something more concrete.
Without degrees, though, you can't get 360. You can't have the circle that equals 3. Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying like the abstract object.
Well, you could have you could have a circle, but have it like half a circle, or like, you know what I mean? It's
half a circle is not a circle. It's just half a circle.
Well, fair enough, I guess.
All I'm saying is that shapes are just parts of smaller shapes. Period.
Yeah, but I don't know how you're using parts there.
Well, I get that.
Did you accept my distinction between essential property and part? Did you accept that distinction?
Oh,
well,
I didn't even.
I think the one thing to ask is, are circles contingent on having degrees?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's just to ask whether degrees are an essential property of circles.
Well, yeah, I think they have to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know how to conceptualize a circle maybe as well as y'all do, but that doesn't take away from the existence of the abstract object.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that the simple fact that it exists, it's a compound object.
Yeah, I don't think that follows. I think once again you're conflating properties and parts.
I see what Serb is saying. A circle. Goddamn phone.
This is like a Seinfeld episode right now. We're arguing about circles.
Every degree of an object is another object.
Yeah, I maybe you just have I don't know how to respond to that.
It's not the degrees themselves that I'm saying are objects. I'm saying the space in between the degrees are objects.
In the space?
Yeah.
Each degree represents a space.
That's if there is. That's if there is like something that you take to be a circle, right?
Well, he's talking in the realm of a circle itself. So you're taking.
I don't think there's any space.
Well, then you don't believe in circles, because circles need to have degrees, and those are defined by space.
Yeah, but no, look, there's a difference between saying there is a circle and then the abstract object of a circle.
Because the degrees represent a position. If you're looking at degrees, you You can basically sum them up from 0 all the way around back to 0 again. 0 being at the 12 o'clock position, then coming all the way around.
So
And
Danny,
each position is in itself a part of what makes up a circle.
Danny, you believe that abstract objects are real, but they're mental objects?
No, they're not mental. They're abstract.
They're real. Where? How?
Basically,
to ask
basically,
where
they
is a
probably-
category error.
Well, no, hold on. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, but you believe they're abstract. They just exist in another dimension that the mind has access to.
Something like that. Dimension is a weird word, but yeah, like the idea is that there's another realm.
Oh, universe, whatever the hell word you want to use.
I think I like to use Frege's terminology here. I guess realm would work. Dimension it could potentially imply physicality. That's why I try to stay away from that word.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this is
what
why
is
people.
realm?
This is why people complain about philosophers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Serb. Yes.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
are you
always-
saying people that don't like to be very careful with their words?
No, people.
No, I mean, you haven't been very careful with your words, to tell you the truth. But
What is it? Does that mean that what words have I been misusing?
Danny? So you believe?
Are you just going to assert that?
You believe that there's a category called?
I think
mind,
so.
And you believe that there's a category called abstracts and another one called physical?
Yeah, I think. Okay, well, I broadly agree with Frege. I think there's the mental, the physical, and the abstract.
Okay, so there's three. So it's a triad, 3 things.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
so
do you want,
Hold
so,
on,
do-
Serb.
so are you- hang on a minute.
Go ahead.
Do you-
Yeah, go ahead,
so
sorry.
Are you on Discord, sir?
I mean, I can open it.
Yeah, go for it.
Open what?
Go ahead, Midnight.
But no, I just wanted to say Serb was trying to say something. So once you're done checking Discord, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Discord's open if you want to send me something. So I'm when I said that about philosophers, as all I'm saying is philosophers in certain areas of philosophy postulate things, and they do so without evidence, and everyone sort of lives on the paradigm of I need evidence.
No, that's not true at all.
No, it totally is.
Well, then look. Even if it were true, what turns on that?
Look, even Christians, right? Even theists try to get evidence.
Look, if I point out that everyone's irrational, who cares?
Look, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is why people fuck with don't like.
Yeah,
philosophy.
irrational people typically don't like rational people. You're right.
No, that's
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, sorry.
why did you that wasn't kick wordy.
Real quick, in order to be irrational, they have to not be following logic.
Yeah, it's
Never
illogical
told
to
me,
think
Danny.
that. It's illogical, irrational to think that everything that could be substantiated has to be an evidential question.
Okay, first off, that's not what I said. Also, I don't think that's how people think.
Well, then I misunderstood you.
Secondly-
What are you saying?
Secondly, there are positions that don't just hypothesize things and they continue as if it's real without any evidence.
But you see, this is just a category error. This is like the 4th time I've said it. When
I know
the
you
plate,
keep on saying it.
do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do. I just don't see.
Okay,
how
then what's the response?
why would I need a response to something that doesn't matter?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but the point is that when you ask a Platonist, excuse me, sir, when you ask a Platonist, give me evidence for the number 3, they're going to be like, it's not an evidentiary thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the reasons why they think there's a number 3 is because of the properties that are true of that thing.
I don't see how you always miss the context of what's going on. It's like you did yesterday.
Okay, well then explain it to me.
The context is this is why people don't like philosophers. They run off a paradigm.
I thought you cared about things that mattered.
Yeah. And
what is that? Tell me how that.
I don't think calculating things and then just pretending they exist matters. Like it doesn't do anything for me.
That begs the question. Right. Look, if I just gave you an argument, right? The fact that the number 3 has the property of the fact that number 3 has the property of being odd creates a problem.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that doesn't even address what I was saying. Explain to me how what I said is begging the question.
You're saying that the Platonist, someone like me, Frege.
Nope.
Okay, well then correct me.
I can repeat what I just said.
Yeah, you cut me off. You cut me off very soon. So apparently, I said something false. So go ahead and say what you meant. What correct me?
What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter. But
I don't know what you mean by.
We already established a sense between me and you what I think matters, and what I'm saying is, when I say it doesn't matter, is that there is no usefulness to that idea to me. I have no use.
Like
for
you're
it.
just saying you don't care about the conversation, so leave.
No, it's not about caring. It's about it being not useful and not getting anyone anywhere.
I mean, I see.
Well, I really don't know what he's saying.
I can postulate that all these abstract objects are just mental and get all the same outcomes that you have.
Okay.
And I don't have to postulate something extra that doesn't help me.
I mean,
look. There are things that happen that are true that don't help me. What are you talking about right now?
I don't know. I think all things that are true help.
Look, if you're not, if you need to go like build a bridge or something or work on your car, go do so. That might help you, right?
I think all things that are true help me. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't. Oh, okay. Wait. Do you think that the fact that like 936 times 433 equals, that if I give you that calculation, that's true, that will help you?
Oh yeah. I mean, at the very least, I'll learn it. Right.
How will that help you? I'm confused.
I think when it comes to multiplying his money.
No. There are truths about how to multiply, but I'm saying the particular statement 936 times 453 or whatever I said equals X, and whatever that X is. How is that going to help him?
So I think generally gaining knowledge or reinforcing knowledge is helpful.
Okay, yes. So now you know an argument against a nominalist position, which is to say that there are no abstract objects, right? And so now you believe something true, presumably based on that argument.
It's something true based on that argument. No, I didn't gain anything from what you just said or been saying.
Okay, so then how do you respond to the argument about there being properties of numbers?
Being properties of numbers, because it's all mental.
Okay, well, so do you think they're real or not?
I don't need to I don't even need to postulate if they're real or not.
Okay, if they're mental, do you think we can have is there a sense in which we can say that we have the same belief about the number 3 in that it has the property of being odd?
Yeah, I think we can both believe that it has a property.
Gee, what did 3 ever do to you, man? Don't be
okay, so that means now what is the common property?
Well, we just said odd.
No, listen to what I'm saying. To say that we have the same belief means that there's something in common. There's one sameness. There's a sameness there. But if you're saying that everything with respect to that belief, including the proposition, the truth, to the statement, the objects are mental, then that can't be true.
I don't see how it cannot be true.
Okay. Well, the point. Do you understand that when someone says you
can mental objects not be true? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we make claims about having the same beliefs as other people. In order to establish that, there has to be a sameness. There has to be an identity relation of some sort. But the point is that if everything about your belief is mental, right, then there's nothing about that that's the same as my mental state. So no one can ever share a belief on that view. Okay, well, go ahead and correct me.
Yeah, we can because all it is translation. Right? We can think, however we think certain things exist, we can think that they have those properties, and then as I speak them to you, you just translate it. Like
this is not. Look, do we have the same belief that? Do we have the same belief that 3 is an odd number?
Yes.
Okay, that means that there is an identity relation between our beliefs, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
Okay, what is identical between our beliefs? What is the same?
That the number 3 has the property.
Wait, no. You see, on your view, you're a conceptualist, which is to say that number 3 exists in your mind, and then I have something else that exists in my mind. So what accounts for that identity relation?
What accounts is that we believe different other things about the number 3.
Oh my God, you can't be reasoned with. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Maybe someone else can explain it to him.
I understand what you're saying, and don't confuse me not thinking that your beliefs literally don't matter to the world with me not understanding.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really. It's not interesting to point out a practical use of the conversation when we're just talking about what's true.
You are free to believe that it's not interesting.
I
I
don't
think-
even know what the point of the conversation
Look,
is.
let me-
don't either. I
look,
lost
let me-
my-
Summarize, Danny.
let me explain it to Jay, because I know Jay is a pretty good reasoner for the most part. Okay, Jay, can you listen for a second? It's not that long.
I mean,
Wait, are you explaining?
Okay, and then if you understand it, Jay, you can explain it to Caravis. If you can't understand it, then I'm going to have to reframe everything I'm saying. Okay.
You might have to, because I've been
So,
listening
look,
all along.
You and I both believe that the 3 is an odd number, right? We have the same belief. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So I take a belief to be a propositional attitude. Okay. So
Yep,
what
so do
that right? Okay. So what's the same is not our attitude. I have my attitude. You have your own attitude. Those are different because they have different properties. What accounts for the sameness is that there's one proposition, one truth that 3 is an odd number, and we have the same attitude about that proposition, that one proposition. And the problem for the conceptualist, right, is that if propositions are mental, then you have your own proposition and I have my own proposition, and so they're different propositions. So we can't appeal to one proposition as to establish the fact that we have the same belief.
And this is why we don't like philosophy.
Well, why is it a problem when we understand that translation happens?
I don't know what you mean.
It means that the propositions don't have to be the exact same mental state.
I don't know how else to explain it, to be honest. And
look, I think I know what Serb is saying. It's very simple, right? Both of you agree that the number 3 is odd, right? Just because you have different mental states that arrive to the same conclusion, right, Serb?
Well, yeah,
but that's it. You can't say it's the same conclusion. They're two different conclusions because they're two different mental states. That's what I'm saying.
You can arrive to. Holy
You
shit!
can't.
Go
Right.
ahead.
That's why the
Danny,
Platon.
you're saying the two beliefs are different, right? But the proposition is the same.
It's the same, exactly. Well,
Okay,
the attitude is different because I have my attitude and you have your attitude, but there has to be one thing that's in common to be able to establish that we have the same belief, and that's namely the one proposition. But if you think propositions are mental, then they're actually two different propositions.
Okay, but do you understand why that might be a problem for a realist?
No.
Okay.
I have a question whenever
Think about it.
it comes to a stopping point.
I mean, I don't actually know how you get only one proposition on one side and two propositions on the other side.
Well, look, if you're yeah. So on a conceptualist view, propositions are mental, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that means that when I have a mental state, I have a specific proposition in my mind about, let's say, if it's a belief, right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I was typing. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But then if you were to have a mental state, let's say a belief state, okay, there would be a different proposition in your mind. It wouldn't, because the fact is that there are two different minds with two different mental states with two different propositions. So it would be impossible that you could have the same belief with anyone.
Well, and the problem with that is that then well, no, hold on.
You can't ever agree with someone.
Exactly. That was literally my point.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, Tanya. Please, that was my bad. You couldn't agree with anyone.
This is all just translation.
Well,
I don't know what that means.
You couldn't hold the 3 as being axiomatic.
Yeah, exactly. A better way of putting it.
Yeah, I think a 3 is just is, right?
Well, are you a Platonist?
I have no idea.
That's a Platonist position.
I used to be a Baptist, but
wait, Midnight, and Jay, do y'all understand what I'm saying?
I think I do. I just don't.
Okay.
I don't know why there would be this much.
Yeah,
why there's this much heat in here about the number 3 and the belief of.
Well, because Caravis is like saying that the conversation is not meaningful or matters or care. I don't know what he's saying. Useful, but
we're way past that.
Well, no, we're not past that. I was explaining why the conversation is heated because you're saying that this conversation doesn't matter when I'm trying really hard to explain it for everyone.
First off, this conversation isn't heated. I'm purposely giving you what you want because I know you want to come in here and have a heated back and forth.
Oh no.
Well, I've been arguing in good faith. I've been trying to
Yeah.
explain my position, and whether my emotional state might change. Right now, it's pretty calm. But the point is that I can't understand a conceptualist because of the reasons that I just laid out. That's why I'm a Platonist. And then to say if that's true, then by your
who here understands what a conceptualist is?
A conceptualist is going to think that there are no abstract objects, but these things that Platonists call abstract objects are actually mental constructions. So, for instance, the number 3 is a mental construction. The proposition that it's raining outside is a mental construction.
If I can guess what the term means, it's someone who believes that concepts actually exist.
No. Look, a Platonist can accept that they're concepts, but they think that they're different than abstract objects. A concept might be mental, but an abstract object is not going to be mental, according to many Platonists. Some people.
So since Danny's really bad at explaining anything, a conceptualist just thinks abstract objects are not real.
Okay,
thank you. That's not no. That's not true. A nominalist thinks that. That's nominalism. A conceptualist makes a further claim. You see, don't misinform people. That's why I'm very technical.
If you think I'm misinforming, I'm just going to Google it and see if I
Google nominalism.
While he Googles that, I have a semi-related question, but occasionally in the discussion, Danny, you'll mention the word attitude, and I can't tell if you mean like an emotional condition of the thinker, or if you're talking about you just don't like your interlocutor's attitude.
No. I mean, I'll tell you in a second. I will say that conceptualist is a kind of nominalism, but what Carabas' definition just gave is just nominalism simpliciter. Okay, you can be a conceptualist and be a nominalist, but not all nominalists are conceptualists. Anyways, to your question, Scott, I just mean like. Think of the word take here. Maybe take is a better word. If I say I believe that it's raining outside, that means I take the proposition that it's raining outside to be true. And so there, take it refers to some kind of, I guess, attitude, for the lack of a better word.
But raining outside is
isn't there? Hold on, I need to ask something. Isn't the word accept a better word to use rather than taken?
Well,
sure. There are a lot of ways to say it. Whatever. I mean, accept might be a better word because it kind of combines the notion
language.
of attitude.
How you frame things with language is important.
I'm saying these are all fair ways of talking about these things.
We're getting super far away from everything. First, conceptualism is an intermediate point, and nominalism also denies universals.
Yeah, well, no, but look, Platonists can deny universals. Okay.
I'm just telling you what a nominalist is because you didn't seem to know when you.
Nominalists universals are taken to be abstract objects.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, if you reject all abstract objects, you're a nominalist. Nothing I said was incorrect. That includes the denial of universals, but there are some Platonists that reject universals and just accept properties.
But I was explaining it to them. You want to explain what you?
I thought you were correcting me.
Yeah, I was correcting you.
What did I say that was false?
Because you didn't include universals because they're not.
No. Look, universals are included in abstract objects.
Well, they're not just abstract objects.
I didn't say that. I didn't make that claim. You're like a slimy little worm.
Well, you just said they are abstract
Look
objects.
who's talking.
Anything else?
Well, I was going to say the universals. Never mind. I'm going to stay away from that conversation. There's no point.
Abstract objects are the set of anything like properties, universals, numbers. Some people think even concepts, although that's controversial. I mean, there's a whole set of what could be taken as an abstract object, one of which included universals. So when I said abstract objects, that if you reject abstract objects, you're going to reject universals.
It's raining outside. Is that an abstract object?
Yeah, I take propositions to be abstract objects.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the fact that rain. You can't get mired into the physicalism because you're talking about. This is more along the lines of like theory of mind kind of thing. It's how you're basically able.
Wait a minute. Is rain an abstract object?
No, the way that you're defining what that is, what it is that you're experiencing, the rain itself, the what your mind is formulating is how you communicate it to other people. You make that into a proposition about something that's happening in the state of affairs.
Yeah, like, look, all I can say about propositions is just one thing, that which can be true or false. That's all I can say about what they are. Right?
Okay.
They don't cause anything. They
But
don't.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, okay, is rain an abstract object?
Oh, rain, like if I see rain, that kind of thing?
No, just is rain an abstract object? I can't ask it any other way, because you said an engine is an abstract object.
No,
right?
look, the concept of, when I have a concept of rain, I might have a concept of something like an abstract object.
Okay, so that concept of rain can be an abstract object.
Well, look, that's why I'm asking you to clarify. The rain outside, that's not abstract. But if I'm talking about rain,
It's not raining. It's not raining outside. And we're just talking about rain in general. Like, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that if we're talking about rain when there is no rain, I'm inclined to think it's an abstract object. Although I think that's in the same kind of category as Harry Potter and engines, like you were saying.
Engines, right.
Yeah, but I'm not. I could be convinced off that view. I'm not. I'm quite convinced, though, that there are propositions. Right, propositions are not are kind of form our concepts. Right, and so yeah, there's like a lot of like. I haven't figured it all out when it comes to what could count as a sufficient, the necessary and sufficient conditions for abstract objects.
You're absolutely sure that numbers are abstract objects.
Right. Numbers and propositions just seem very obviously abstract objects. Whether Harry Potter or rain or an engine is an abstract object, I'm inclined to think so, but I can be convinced off of it. I need someone to give me an argument against it, and I'll definitely hear it out.
Well, we're getting pretty far away from what I was talking about translation, and I just want to explain it. So when I say translation, I'm sort of referring to an example like the process of learning language, right? You grow up and live, and you hear other people speak sounds in relation to objects and the world, and you slowly build a lexicon and concept in your head.
Look, sounds don't relate to objects.
Stop. I know it's a leap that we do. That's how language.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't need to make sense.
Finish.
It's literally how it works.
Well, you're just asserting that.
Okay, you finished, Cerberus?
No, I'm not. No, he keeps on interrupting me.
Okay.
Finish.
I'll bounce him. Okay, go ahead.
So as we grow up and we build this, I'm going to say, construction in our head of these sounds, words, objects, and stuff, like a mental map of how the world functions and what's in the world and how to communicate what's in our head to other people. Right? But we literally don't have to have the exact same brain state to agree on something, because when we agree, all we're doing is checking a statement someone said to what we already have in our head.
Exactly.
But are those the same statement?
Are they the same? Are you talking about what's in the head, or are you talking about what's being communicated?
The way you just used the word statement there, I'm referring to that.
Because when I say statement, it's the words being communicated.
Look, I just take a very simple, a very common sense view of agreement. When we agree on X, that means we have the same belief about X. Is that not
define Thursday?
But that is exactly how we normally talk about it.
And you describe that as an identity, Danny.
I'm saying that X is X.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But if you say that I hold a belief that X, and then you have a different proposition, then it can't be X. So there's no room for agreement.
Okay, but the problem is, Danny, we both have separate ideas of what X is, and as long as we agree, as long as we correlate enough statements around what that perception is, when you tell me a statement about X, I'll just agree with it because it matches what I have.
No, I don't take X to be a concept or an idea. I take it to be a proposition.
I know, because you think they're abstract objects.
No, I don't I'm not persuaded that concepts are abstract objects. I'm not persuaded by that.
I thought you just said they were.
No. I mean, there's a debate about that, right? But the thing is that I have a concept of speed, you have a concept of speed, and they may not be the same concept. But the proposition that speed is in StreamYard, we agree on that proposition. That's not a concept.
Wait, hold on. hold on.
I think it is.
Wait,
No,
you
hold
think
on.
the proposition that we're in the room is a concept?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how you're using the
A
word.
concept of what?
Holy bollocks.
It's a mental state that we're seeing.
Oh my god.
We're aware of it in multiple ways.
I think you're beyond help.
It relates to how we know speed and how we're dealing with speed currently.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but I had to have. I think you're beyond help. Like, honey, you're beyond help.
Look, all I'm
Jesus
saying is that
Christ.
his point of view also requires the same thing that I'm talking about.
Well, hold on, sir. Can I actually want to add something to
Yeah,
this? really quick?
concepts are not taken to be
Hold
propositions.
on a sec. Hold on a sec. I need to say something. All right. Both, here's the way I see it. Both you and Serb have the same concept of speed. However,
No, we don't.
However, you have different views of speed. Okay,
Okay.
Cerberus
that
made
does-
you.
I don't know.
No.
Shut up! Shut up! I'm trying to.
That's just more words.
Does anyone
Midnight?
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that
Okay.
doesn't make it. View is just a belief.
Oh my goodness.
You're an idiot.
If I have a
I'm
view,
sorry, and I'm sorry I called you an idiot. That was my bad.
I don't really care. Look, the point.
Wait, where's midnight? There you are. I'm sorry, I gotta remove midnight for a second. Just to be fair, okay? You're back.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
so,
so-
I apologize. That's see.
No
See?
need to apologize. All that means when you call someone stupid is that you're disapprove of their reasoning or something. But anyways,
Well, no.
look, the point is that like concepts and propositions can't be identical because what I take a concept to be is a set of propositions at the least. Okay. Now, so that's to say, if I have a concept of speed, what constitutes that is going to be a set of truths about speed. So that speed is above the age of 40, that he lives in the United States, that he really likes science, that he has a show. These are all propositions that constitute my concept, right? So if you think that a proposition is identical to a concept, then there's that whole picture falls apart.
That's
Well,
not
no,
really. That's
because I
not.
think a proposition is literally the words, whether
No,
they're
well,
in your
that's
head
just-
or
that's
instead
it.
of being written.
That is a fringe view for many reasons, right?
I don't care if it's a fringe view.
No, but that means that we can't agree on anything on that view. There's no such thing as agreement.
Look, can I say something really quick? Like you said, you said that you said that the propositions about speed's view. Oh, Jesus Christ, I hate
Speed.
stuttering.
I have a concept of speed. I have this. That
Yes,
just means
you
that
have-
I have.
Well, hold on. You both, as I said before, right? Both you and Cerberus have a concept of speed that you can agree, that he's in here. However, your views of speed are different, and those views are composed of different propositions.
Well, no, that just means
Does
we
that
have
make
different
sense?
concepts. Yeah, look, I'm right with you up until the fact that you said we have the same concept. Because if it's the case that our concepts consist of different
Well, hold on.
propositions,
Hold on.
I'm
Yeah.
listening.
The
Different
speed, can you both agree the speed exists?
Yeah,
Okay, so how is that not a
Well,
concept?
that's a proposition, not a concept.
I don't think Danny can from his position, although he'll say it.
I don't
All
think
right,
what.
but sir, do you understand what I'm saying, right? I know I started like an asshole, but you understand what I'm saying, right?
I understand what you're saying. You're not using the word. You're not using the words the way that fits Danny's positions. That's why he's going to disagree with you.
No, I agreed with him just now. Oh wait, I agreed. Wait, look, I'm just telling you, it's true. This might be a semantic dispute, but I think that what you're suggesting might be not what you want to mean. Like, let me depict. Look, the point is that my concept is of speed. Carabas's concept, there's a concept that he has of speed, and they have the same referent, but they're two different concepts. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I would agree. They're like overall the concept, as in general notion of something.
That was my point.
They have to be different because I mean they're from different
Right.
agents.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
That doesn't mean we're going to disagree about
Wait,
there
no.
being speed.
Wait. That actually, I'm not so sure. I have to think about that. I think we can share concepts. Okay, but I don't think our like for instance, our concept of a bachelor, or we might share that concept, but we may not share the same concept of speed.
Well, what I'm saying, even though we don't share the same concept of speed, that doesn't mean we can't agree about speed, which was
Right,
my
yeah,
point
yeah.
before.
Yeah, like we agree that our concepts are trying to track the thing that is speed, but we might disagree about or agree on those
Okay,
propositions that constitute our concept.
Well, see, because now I'm confused. Because now you're agreeing with my position when before you said I was hopeless.
Well, hold on.
Well, you said other gibberish that I probably was.
I mean, an abstract
Yeah.
idea, a general notion that we can both, you can both agree that speed exists as an abstract, as a notion, right?
Well, no, it's not. I don't think it's necessarily abstract, but I could be convinced otherwise. Like I said, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I just looked at the definition of concept, and it's literally an abstract idea, a general notion.
Yeah, but look, that's not the technical term. Okay,
That's a dictionary. That's
I'm saying, and it's controversial what I'm saying. Not everyone's going to agree with me. Okay, what I'm saying is I am not inclined to think that our concepts are abstract. I actually agree with Carabas on that account. I'm not. We disagree about propositions and numbers, maybe. And maybe like things like the abstract objects that reflect like engines and stuff. But where we do agree, it seems like we're both going to agree that concepts are mental.
the thing is, I would agree with you about like numbers and a lot of these objects on everything other than them being abstract, or abstracts generally being a separate category.
Yeah, we agree though, I think that concepts may not be abstract, right? Like, I don't think it's not like I don't know what it means to say that my concept exists outside of myself, because it's my concept.
Oh, but that's why I said abstract objects.
Right. No, I'm saying I'm expressing our agreement, right? The agreement is that if it's my concept, it's mental. Okay?
Yes.
But I don't take the proposition that it's raining outside to be mine. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so if I think 3 is mental and you think it's abstract, how is it possible that we both agree that it's odd?
Oh, I don't know. We reason to it. It's a priori, right?
Yeah, well, I thought you said we couldn't agree.
Well, on your view, on my view, we can agree, not on your view.
No, on my view, we can't agree because
you're saying that they're two different 3s.
No, what I said is I already said this. Agreement doesn't require us to have the exact same every detail.
Well, then I don't know what you mean by agree.
When I say agree, I mean you have given me information that checks out with my idea of what
I don't know what you mean by checks out there. I promise you, look, I'm gonna ask you to the point where you're just gonna say there's something that unifies our belief, and that requires one singular entity, not two different ones.
No, why would it need to be? I'm even talking about unification here.
Look, the point is that you are going to say that we have the same belief at some point. I know that you will eventually. You believe that we share beliefs, that we have the same belief, right? About, like, let's say that the square root of 9 is 3. We believe that, right? We have the same belief.
But I would say so. I mean, to be charitable, like to allow conversation to go on and not get really pedantic about something. I would assume that with a lot of things, we believe the same thing, right? Until I'm shown otherwise, just so the conversation can happen.
Absolutely. We do. Wait. We can just take a very simple proposition, like 3 is an odd number.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree on that, right?
Yeah, and all I did was check that statement against what I think about 3, and then all you did was did the same thing.
What statement? That 3 is odd, right? Is that the same statement as your statement? That 3 is an odd number?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, then there's one statement. There's not two different ones. If they're the same, there's one.
If there's the same as one. Well, yeah.
Okay, well then that's not what the conceptualist thinks. It's no longer mental.
Well, first off, I never said I was a conceptualist.
Look at, okay, maybe the term triggers you. You think that propositions are mental,
no.
yes?
Propositions. Yeah. Yes, I think they're
okay.
mental.
That's all I mean by conceptualism in this case.
But there's a certain sense of mental. Like, I'm actually a physicalist.
Sure. I don't. This is not a dualism. This is not a dualism debate. Okay.
When I say mental, all I mean is I have a sensation.
Look here. Okay. Well, maybe I can frame it in the physicalist sense, right? Do you think any physical object is the same as another physical object?
Well, no. I mean,
Obviously, no, right? The point. That's the problem on physicalism is that nothing can be the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
That's not a problem.
That's just classical logic. Right.
Yeah, right. So then there's no sense in which we can say we have the same belief.
Oh, but that's
because that's language works differently.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying that we don't actually have to have the exact same physical state to say that we agree on something.
Look, do we have the same belief that that 3 is an odd number?
Yes. But that doesn't mean we have the exact same physical state.
Well, then I don't know the difference between same and exact same.
But when I say same, and so this is good.
You don't mean same when you say same?
No, I do mean same, but in a different sense. So when I say,
are you really not getting this?
No, I am getting.
This is like a very basic objection.
Right. Yeah, it
okay,
is.
But
this doesn't pan out. So when I said same in the one sense, I mean that statement that you said, as I interpreted it, matched the idea I have.
Matched is a synonym for same.
Yeah. I mean, meaning that I think it comes off to me as the same thing. Now, exactly. Look, when I said exactly the same,
actually,
at that point, I was talking about the physical state, like on our brain.
Look, do you think that your belief is a mental state and only a mental state doesn't get?
There's still more, because when I said mental, I mean when I say mental, I mean I have a sensation. So the sensation.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's fine. You could think it's worse. So the sensation.
Sensations are not true or false. Beliefs are. Right? That's why it's worse.
Right. I have the sensation that these are the same things.
Wait. Do you think sensations can be true or false?
No, because they're not.
Okay, can beliefs be true or false?
They're not meanings.
Okay, are beliefs true or false?
They can make you feel something that
are
you could.
Beliefs true or false?
Are beliefs true or false? They can be true and false.
Oh my god. Yeah, when is a belief not true or false?
When is a belief not true or false?
Yes.
When you are unaware of the truth value of it.
Wait. Do you look? It's almost like you accepted a definition. You previously accepted a definition of belief that is to take or accept a proposition as being true. So there's a big problem for you.
When did I do that? Because you kept on saying I was a bunch of things, and I never said I was.
Okay, so do you think when you believe something? Okay, well then we'll just we don't have to get into the history of things. Let me just ask you straight up then. You're saying that, when you say I believe X, do you mean I take X to be true?
Yeah, I take X to be true.
Okay, so that's what you mean. Now there are cases in which you believe X and you don't take X to be true.
Because you're going to oversimplify this. There's multiple senses in which I can believe things.
Okay, do you believe anything that you take to be false?
Do I believe anything that I take to be false? No.
Okay. So do you take anything that you believe? Do you believe anything that can't be true or false?
Do I believe anything that can't be true or false?
Right.
Well, yeah, because I use multi-valued.
Do you believe in hooray?
Do I believe in hooray? You have to explain to me in this sense what hooray is.
Do you believe what time is it?
Do I believe what time is it? No, I don't think that's a belief.
Exactly. They're not truth apt. So you can't believe anything that's not truth apt.
What?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't. There's no belief that I have that I don't think is true. Well, actually, no, because you're right. There is some. There is some that I do hold that are not true, but also not false.
Okay, so then that means a belief is not. You don't take a belief to be that which you take to be true. So what do you mean by it now?
So for example, there are beliefs. So let's just say that any given belief that I think is true, right? Just call that belief A, right? The sky's blue. That's belief A. Let's just say I believe that to be true. forget about justification and knowledge and all that stuff for right now. I have another belief. I have a belief on top of that belief that makes me think it's true. That's not the belief itself.
Right.
That belief has no truth value. It's just a sensation.
Wait. So what? Then I'm very confused. If you don't take belief to be that which you take to be true, right?
No, it can be
then,
true.
Okay. What do you mean by belief?
Well, there's two different. I just gave you two different senses.
I don't understand those senses. You didn't give me the meaning.
So a belief.
What were the two senses again?
It's well, they're both something that I think is.
Oh my god, this is like mental gymnastics.
Or to be the case, but that doesn't mean I think they're true.
You chose this, Danny. You chose this.
Well, I mean, I'm enjoying myself, but it's just kind of embarrassing for him. I feel bad for him, but I mean, like, look,
it's okay if you don't understand multi-valued logic.
Did I just do?
This has nothing to do with logic, does it? I'm just asking a very simple question. What do you mean by belief? I told you what I mean.
Yeah, I'm saying that there are things that can be true and false that can also be something else.
Look, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that. Right? I agree that there are things that can't be true or false. I think, hooray! What time is it? Can't be true or false. So that's not what we're contesting. What I'm asking you is very simply, all I'm asking you is, what do you mean by belief? When you say you believe, what does that mean?
It means I think it's the case.
Okay, that means you take it to be true, which means that leaves no room for your excluded middle nonsense.
Excluded middle nonsense. Well, no, because I don't think those beliefs that it's literally a belief about a belief is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a second order belief. That can be true or false.
No, in my sense, it's just a maybe.
I don't know. You're like unintelligible. Look, if I believe, that can be true or false.
You don't understand multi-valued logic. Yeah.
I don't see what that has to do with anything. It's very simple. If I believe that I believe X, that can be true or false.
It can. It could also be a maybe.
I don't know what that means.
Exactly. That's why I just
Can you explain what you mean by that?
It's another truth value. It's essentially a question mark. To like oversimplify.
Yeah, I don't. It's like you're talking gibberish. Does anybody understand him?
Saying unawareness is a truth is a truth condition.
Look, it's very simple. I just want to ask you. You haven't told me yet. What do you mean by belief? You've only tried to demonstrate an example, but I want to know what you mean by belief.
I said when you think something is.
When you think something is, that requires a truth value.
Yeah. But
okay, so then that goes against your examples, right?
No, it doesn't. Because you're saying you're trying to force on that they have to be true and false. Now, when I said there's this other one that I don't think is true, I'm saying that there's a third position.
Yeah, but that confuses the notion of belief, and so I'm just asking you for your notion.
It confuses you. All it is multi-valued.
Yeah, I get confused by gibberish. So tell me what you mean by belief. You have not told me.
That's fine. You could think it's gibberish. Just go open a book.
Open a book.
I don't want to.
I have to open a book about what you mean by belief.
No, you have to. You apparently have to open up a book about multi-valued logic.
This has nothing to do with that. You tried to.
The simple fact that you think that means you don't understand what's going on.
What's the argument?
The argument is that there is a position that a belief can have that isn't true or false.
Right. That's unintelligible to me.
I know. It seems to be unintelligible to you.
Right. Make it intelligible. That's to say, give an argument for why those things can exist.
Why those things can exist? Well, I mean,
Are you just asserting it?
Well, I mean, to you, I would be.
Okay, so you're not justified.
But you're asking me.
Look. This is very simple, guys. Right? Let me just explain to the viewers because I don't think I can reason with them. But it's very simple. When someone says they believe, there's something that they take to be true. Now he's suggesting that you can have beliefs that don't have to be true or false, which is to say that he's redefined belief, which is totally fine. So I'm just asking him very simply, what do you mean by belief? And then he just says, what I take to be or what is, right? But that's compatible with my original notion of belief that which I take to be If I take X to be true, then I have a belief about X, right? And so I don't really see where he's going.
Well, yeah, because you don't seem to know what
I just explained it for the viewers. Are you going to respond to anything I said?
Well, no, that's just you saying in a very complicated way that you don't understand me.
Look, I'm saying your definition. It's just my definition. Are we disagreeing about the notion of belief? Yes or no?
Maybe this will help you. So when I say what is, think about it as an assertion.
No, that doesn't help at all.
Okay, but I don't know how else.
Well, look.
I'm not a complete expert.
Do you think that it's? Well, I'm going to help you. I'm somewhat well versed in these things, so I'll help you. Look, do you think it's myopic to say that beliefs are that which you take to be true, or yeah, a propositional attitude, in other words?
I mean,
do you think that's myopic?
Well, I understand it when people say it.
Do you think it's myopic? Do you understand the question?
Maybe I don't. I think.
Okay, it just means is it too narrow a definition?
Too narrow a definition. Well, yeah, I get. I mean, I would. My definition would be broader than that. Yeah.
Okay, so you've defined belief as what? As exactly something.
I don't know if like two as a TOO is would be the right word to use though.
Look, all that means is that you take a different definition. Look, focused.
Well, no, you said it would be too constrictive.
Yeah, that means that you have a different definition. Just focus. Look, what's your definition?
Because I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm asking for your definition.
I'm perfectly fine with people only using two values.
Okay, so you're fine with people equivocating on it?
Well, they would only be equivocating if they're using it in both senses.
No, what equivocation just means that I use a term in two different ways.
Yeah, you just repeated what I just said. Yes, thanks.
No, I think you said something different. But
I didn't.
What did you say?
I said, let's use it because it was literally overwritten by the way you phrased it.
Okay, whatever. Look, I'm just asking, right? If your definition of belief is just what did you? I always forget it because it's just so weird. Can you repeat it?
Well, I'll try to butterfly it up a little bit here. It's to assert what is the case.
That's compatible with belief, with my notion of belief.
Oh, is it? Are you sure?
Yes. You're saying that you have a different notion of belief. You said that my definition was myopic.
It's almost like we can agree.
Wait, no. We're disagreeing about whether it's myopic or not. You said it was myopic. I don't think it is.
Well, the way you said it to start with, I said then yes, but then you said to, meaning to a degree.
Look, is it myopic to say that a belief is a propositional attitude? You take a certain proposition to be true. Is that a myopic definition?
Okay, wait, re-say that.
Yeah. Do you take the definition of belief to be that to take a proposition to be true, to accept a proposition as being true? Do you think that's a myopic definition?
Proposition.
Too narrow. Is it too narrow of a definition?
It's too narrow for me, but I don't think.
Okay, that means that you have a different definition, and the definition you gave is essentially the definition that I just gave, just in different words.
Yeah, I guess we have a different understanding because all I'm doing.
No, it's the same understanding, but you're making the claim that my definition is myopic.
Okay, so when I said assertion, right, and how it's doesn't have to be true or false, right? So Danny, you've talked it's like one of the first times we talked, and I brought up the law of excluded middle.
Yes.
And I brought up the liar's paradox.
Yes.
Right. That's it's an assertion.
I don't take that to be. My solution to the liar's paradox is just not a proposition.
Well, exactly, but it's still an assertion.
No, if it's not an assertion if it's not a proposition. When you assert something, you're just making a claim, and if you claim something, you believe something.
Wait, you can't claim something you think is false?
Well, you can lie.
Okay, then you just you just countered yourself. I don't know what to do now.
Okay, well, I'll explain it again for you, right? If we're taking someone to make an assertion, they're making a claim. Okay? When they make when they're making a claim, right? That just means that they're taking something to be true. On my view.
Okay, so when I think someone's making a claim, I think they're trying to get me to say it's true. They're trying to tell me that I should think.
That might look no, not always, right? If I look, if I say that I need to go to the bathroom, that's a claim.
Yeah, but you're
saying that's true.
Telling me when you're telling me that you're trying to convey that is true to me. It doesn't necessarily entail that you think it's true.
No, well, look, you can make claims to yourself. You can, I mean, like I just take a claim to be a kind of linguistic thing as well. Like, so I do agree with you that claims are in the context of communication. But what is this? What turns on this for the excluded middle issue?
No, what I'm saying is that the liar's paradox, and when phrased that way, is an assertion or a claim.
No. Look, I based on my definition of a claim, this does not qualify as a claim. The sun went down Earth 56. I don't take that to be a claim.
Yeah, that's fine. But you're trying to understand me, right? Because I already know that you don't think it's a proposition.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain my position to you, not that you have to agree with my position.
But fine, then I'm gonna relax. Then, if you're just trying to give me your reasoning for why you reject the excluded middle, I'm all ears.
What do I say? Well, it's just because I accept the liar's paradox. Like it seems
There's
like
nothing,
it seems like
there's solutions to the liar's paradox, but
it seems like there was a lot of defending from it. All of which had objections to it.
No, I agree that maybe denying the law of the excluded middle solves the liar's paradox. I don't dispute that. Okay, but I think that there are the ramifications to that. But I don't think that one of those ramifications has to be that beliefs suddenly don't have to be about truth-apt things.
But I mean, we could go if we wanted to focus on that portion of the conversation. We can go deeper because you could say that root 2 is rational, and that's a statement that's both true and false.
Root 2 is rational?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about math.
Just a general overview. There's a whole giant list of they call it in the family of the liar's paradox in math.
Yeah.
Right. One of them is root 2. There's a proof that it's both irrational, and then there's a separate proof that it's rational.
Yeah, I would just take more confidence in that they're doing a miscalculation than like at this moment, right? I could than to deny the law of excluded middle. I think I would have more confidence in that.
You can, but I mean, I would suggest that at least on face value that you don't do that, because it's a whole thing in math for the last 20 or so years.
Yeah, I'm just telling you my confidence levels, right? I have less confidence in someone that, and to be honest, like I know that this is a very delicate issue. I don't expect you to go through all and explain it to me. I'm sure, but like the point is that if someone's just telling me that there's this mathematical issue, therefore the law of excluded middle, we should throw it out the window, I'm just going to have more confidence in the law of excluded middle being true than whatever they're telling me.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, okay. But I don't really fault you because you haven't really presented the argument.
Oh yeah, because I don't think I could do it justice.
Right. I don't think I could do a lot of things that I believe in justice as well. But in terms of justification, but the point is that I don't see why you couldn't just say, okay, let's say you're rejecting the excluded middle. Let's say that's the solution to the liar's paradox. I don't see why you couldn't just say that it applies to only certain sets of propositions and not others.
Well, that's exactly what I do.
Okay, well then why can't you just say beliefs are applied to the sorts of sets in which the liar's paradox or the law of excluded middle apply to?
But because having a third value is useful to me there. To help me understand things. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just seems like I don't really understand your. It seems like your revised notion of belief is compatible with my notion of belief. I don't think that the liar's paradox, even if you were to reject the excluded middle, you could just compartmentalize with respect to what sorts of propositions are not under the law of excluded middle, and such that you can have an intelligible view of mind.
Well, yeah. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's why I was trying to explain to you that these things might not be propositions because they won't be true or false, but that doesn't mean.
Wait, no. I thought you were saying that the liar's paradox is a proposition. It's just a proposition that is not either true or false.
Well, no, I brought that up because you already told me that you weren't so sure that it was actually a proposition.
Right, but we're just talking about your view, right?
Well, yeah, but I was trying to translate my view to what you've already said.
But you consider the statement, the liar's paradox statement, to be a proposition, right?
Well, yeah, it seems like there is so much hubbub about it that it seems like even the people that disagree with it think it's a proposition.
Well, look, there's not. I don't even know. I haven't really looked into it, but I'm quite confident, based on my few experiences, that there's no established or consensus about how to fix that problem, right? So I that means it's something that I have to look onto myself, right? And I have, right? And I don't. There's a guy named, I think, Bruggencate, that talks about truth. The idea of propositions, if they're truth apt, they have truth conditions, and so the idea of a proposition, if there are no truth conditions for it, then it's just not propositional. That's kind of like the stance I take. I don't know what the truth conditions are for that proposition, and I don't think there can be, because if there are truth conditions, then you have a solution that it's just true.
Yeah, that's why I use three-valued logic, and I only use that third value in very niche situations like the liar's paradox.
Yeah, I'm just quite. I have more confidence that propositions are either true or false than whatever the statement, that statement possibly undermining that notion. But I just wouldn't know. I think that maybe it's something to look into. But I like I said, if someone says that they believe X, right, I just take X to be propositional. It seems like you're agreeing, right? Even if it's not truth apt.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we understand that it's not, if we're going to give the caveat that it's not truth apt, then I could agree with that statement, I think.
So then when you believe X, and if X is not truth apt, what does it mean to say that you take it to be true? It's just no longer a belief. It's like you believe in hooray.
Well, I mean, you would believe something that's still intelligible, so it's not just hooray.
Well, look, what time is it is intelligible. There's meaning in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't make any sense to say I believe what time is it.
Okay.
So I don't think that's going to help you. The idea that meaningful.
I don't see how it contradicts. Like, so I'm saying the belief that wouldn't be truth apt would still be intelligible.
I'm saying that you've divorced belief from I take it to be true. Right? And I just don't know what you're talking about after that point.
Yeah, well, I think that you can have beliefs that are true and maybe question mark or confused or unsure, right? It's all the same middle position. I can say that people will not honestly assert a belief that they think is false.
Yeah, I don't see how this has to do with my initial criticism of conceptualism. Seems like everything, now that I thought about it, everything the whole rabbit hole of liar's paradox and all that, it does not help you with respect to establishing the sameness of a belief, of two different beliefs.
Yeah, well, I already said that. Agreeing that it's the same is not the same thing as saying that physically, since I'm a physicalist, that they are the exact same physical states.
I don't know. Do you distinguish same and exact same?
Yeah, I already did before.
Okay, I what does same mean to you? But does it mean identical?
It's same in the context in which I use same. It was basically replaceable with I agree with the thing that you said, which means
but look, the notion of agreement relies on the notion of same, so that's just not going to be informative.
That's why I'm specifically using two different terms, because I'm trying to not conflate them. Right.
No,
So when
no,
I say same, I mean something in one sense, which mean I'm using it so I get the feeling that what you're saying, the way I'm interpreting it, is matching a sensation I have.
matching is just look. It's a synonym for same.
Yeah. But okay, then comparing that I compared.
We don't look. Comparing beliefs doesn't establish sameness.
Danny is using a spirit mind concept of belief or same, and you're trying to use a more realistic concept. Is that what's going on here, Cerberus?
No, look. This is look. We can get out of.
Danny,
I'm assuming dualism.
I just don't know how detailed he wants me to be with my explanation.
Okay, but it seems like you're using a more realistic physicalist concept of a belief, and he's trying to turn it into something abstract and propositional. He's trying to like purify it, and you're not. When he says, I don't know, I haven't been following everything, but anyway, that's kind of the impression I get.
Well, I'd like to know one thing, sir. When you use the word same, are you referring to all the properties of that object to be identical?
I'm referring to that I have no reason to think that you're going to say something that I disagree with yet about
Yeah, but look, that begs the question, right? Because our notion of agreement relies on the notion of same.
How does that?
No,
beg
it doesn't. No.
Yeah, Speeds, you can just shut up because you didn't address me when you asked for my view.
How does that beg the question?
Did you want him to answer that?
I'm really not even making an argument, so I'm not sure how I'm making.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like
my question, sir.
Agreeing with you, and talking about something being the same as in every property is identical, or you have identity, is the two different things. Okay, you can agree with kind of a fuzzy notion of what we're agreeing on, right? We agree on the core of the concept, basically enough to say that we agree. We may actually have totally fucking different ideas about what we're agreeing on, but we're going to agree. If we agree successfully, then we pretty much are pointing at roughly the same area of the world. So you understand that? Does that make sense? All of this stuff,
it does to me.
all of this stuff is just fucking tossing words around and trying to use them like they're math when they're not. And it just, I don't know. I'm going to put Danny back in. He can blather for a while. But if you be careful, Danny.
If you just stick to what you just last.
Yeah, Danny. Hold on, Danny.
I'm just anticipating what he was gonna say, and I just
Danny. If just behave when you're back in here.
I don't know what that means. I am behaving.
Fuck. I think that is a problem, Danny. That is the problem.
I don't know what you mean by problem. I don't think I have a problem.
Well, Danny, I don't know. I don't know what you mean when you don't know. Wow. Okay, that's really hard to put into words.
This is the attitude I've taken with Danny for like the last 4 or 5 interactions. When he says I don't understand that, just realize that that's his responsibility to understand it.
Wait, are you trying to communicate? Are you trying to communicate?
Yeah.
Are you trying to communicate? Oh, okay. So we're not having a conversation.
Not. I mean, we are right now.
You're not
okay. So you're trying. So when you've tried to explain what you meant by belief, were you trying to communicate with me?
So that the statement I just said, when I was saying about responsibility, that was not directed at you. That's why I said we weren't having a conversation about.
Okay. When you were trying to communicate with me, and then I said I didn't understand what you said, isn't the fact that you were trying to communicate me, which means implies that you have a responsibility to be understoed.
Well, no, hang on.
Well, then I don't know what you mean by responsibility.
I need to say something. All right, now
you don't have to know.
Okay, it is true. It is true that Cerberus needs to be clear in the way he communicates things, but the onus is on you to understand what he's trying to say.
I am.
To try to understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah, well, but so look, there's failure in both ways, but I don't take the blame.
I doubt there's failures on both ways because a lot of people can understand.
Wait, look, it's very simple. He tried to communicate with me. I didn't understand him, so he failed. And I tried to understand him, and I didn't understand him, so I failed. Well, but the blame lies within him.
Okay, so let me ask you something really quick. If 90% of the people in the room can understand Serb, but not you, what does that say?
90% of the room are idiots.
Thank you. You proved my point.
Let's leave him back there for a while.
I just want to address something Steve said. Yeah, I completely agree with your kind of diagnosis there that there seems to be some indeterminacy over the propositions used. Okay.
Yeah.
Indeterminacy? About what?
God. Oh my God.
I was communicating with speed.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question. Are you you don't want to answer the question or something?
He
I
answered
don't
my
understand what
question.
you mean.
Danny. We don't need your input on this one.
Oh, Danny, because I don't understand what you mean.
Why is your? I can. What? Can you repeat yourself, Simus, please? Because it's hard to understand.
He said he doesn't understand what you mean.
No, I actually can't hear. His mic is really bad.
Is that a problem?
For me, yes.
Why is that a problem?
Because I want to understand him.
Oh. But is it really a problem?
I don't know the distinction between problem and a real problem.
Oh.
That's fine. You don't need to.
I don't know what that means.
You don't understand, Danny?
You don't need to know that either.
Well, that's ironic.
Right? I think it is.
I mean, if you're saying I should, like I shouldn't have to care about.
What I'm trying to point out to people is I think you're perfectly capable of understanding.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Layman's speech. Right?
No.
And you're purposely not understanding it.
Yeah.
Well, if I said that you have a grave issue and you don't perceive an issue, then what do you think I mean?
It's almost like you just completely ignored what I said.
Answer the question.
You get beat up a lot, Danny?
I mean,
I beat other people up like you. You have to kick me out.
No,
Danny.
Danny. No, I mean like really beat up. Like,
well,
really.
no,
I don't know what that means. Are you saying like physically?
Yeah.
I still hold to my assessment.
Why would
Danny
Why would that
loves
happen?
abuse.
Did people ever pick you up and thrown you out of their house?
No.
Really?
Danny, you love the
You
abuse,
talk
don't you?
differently when you're not online.
No, I just behave here. Like people here are kind of obtuse and dense, so they don't like me.
Speed. The world is very different than it used to be. Bullies are not much of a thing anymore. Like physical bullies, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, if he walked into a bar in Brooklyn and talked like that, you think how long do you think he'd last?
No, I'm one of the few people that have met a lot of these internet like Discord people. Like I met Jack Angstrike in person. I met JHC in person. I met Josh, the Realistic Nihilist in person. I met Godless Girl in person. I've met Dio in person. I've met a lot of people in person. Right?
You met Godless Girl in person? Oh, I feel sorry
three
for you.
times. I
feel sorry for you.
Oh no, we're friends, right? But I get along with everyone except the kind of dense people like you, Speed.
Daddy, wrong thing to say.
Yeah, I think listening to the Power Talkers is.
I think whether it's over. Huh?
Somewhat one-sided.
I mean, it totally explains why he acts the way he does.
Yeah, because he hangs out with the wrong crowd.
Oh, it's not the wrong crowd. It's just a very select crowd.
Fair enough.
Not very multi-valued.
Because I am definitely the type of person that in an environment where it would be allowed, where no one would go to prison, I would be polite, not call anyone stupid or dense or anything. And then if someone called me dense, I just punch them in the face, and that's how I do it.
Yeah.
And then I just go back to being polite again. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Or you make it so that never mind.
I don't know that.
Not everybody.
There are certain ways that you talk when you're in public, and Danny doesn't. And it is the way Danny talks. And I think people should maintain consistency between what they do when they're with people and what they do on the internet. Just me. I don't know.
I mean, I'm more, I guess, reserved in real life. Like, I'm still me, but shyer, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty much exactly the same. I just prefer to correct misbehavior than compete in misbehavior.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of strange to me. I think there's a a sense that being empathetic towards people who are different from yourself is very useful in getting on in life and getting on.
Yeah, I agree with you.
More importantly, being trusted by other people. Right? So I think that's a real thing. But people act the way they do. I would say this. Well, I would say this as well. The internet and this particular community, it is self-selecting, right? The internet and the people you talk to, we are self-selecting ourselves to become here and talk about these subjects. And so, of course, there's going to be, some common traits that we all share. And those common traits are, I think Danny is displaying some of them by wanting to have the conversation, but not always being able to communicate think on their feet as we might wish to. And some people are better at doing that, and some people aren't. One of them aren't so good, I guess. And I don't think it's related to intelligence either. I think it's related to sociability.
Well, yeah, because I don't really have the best way to communicate in voice. In text is a hit or miss, I guess. But
overall, what I could see him doing with this notion of abstracts and notions of the mental, like the three different categories, is basically creating a system where he was not consistent and not clear. I mean, when you asked him questions about specifics, he tended to not be sure, like engines, concepts, things like that. And it's just, when that happens to you, you must consider whether or not you've fucked up somehow at the beginning, right? And say,
sure.
Whatever. I think abstracts are real, like in the universe.
Sure, but I don't think there's a problem in the way, that you could conceive of abstracts as being real objects in inverted commas, right? I mean, that is a known philosophical position, etc. So I don't doubt that that's a real thing. I mean, some people do think that about numbers, but then again, some people think that DNA is a code, right?
Yeah. Well, I always look at how we acquire and what abstract objects are biologically in us as organisms.
That explains it.
And if you look at it that way, everything becomes so much fucking simpler. And when you realize that, when you start playing a language game and you deviate from that perfectly physical universe, that you end up at all these fucking isms after isms after isms. And I guess I over the last 10 years I grew impatient with it. And you know what I mean? You understand my point,
of course, right? I understand. Of course, I understand what you mean. I do think, though, that there is some sense that making these subtle definitional changes between words can be very useful in some aspects, right? To be able to understand the nature of mathematics is a useful thing to do, right? Yeah. I mean, just as a general practicality, when we're doing other things in life, like science or other things, just calculating change or whatever, it is useful to have that as a kind of a common currency. And I guess that's
useful to ground them. It's useful to ground what you're doing too, so that you can understand when you've gotten off the rails. I think. I don't know.
It's very useful just to say that there's only an atom in the universe, right, Speed?
That there's what?
An electron.
It's very simple to say that there's only an electron, right?
Only an electron?
It's very simple.
It's a concept in physics. It's a real concept.
To say that there's one electron, that's all that exists, is a pretty simple construal of the world, isn't it?
I wouldn't.
No, it's not
I don't
simple.
know what you're talking about.
Well, no, it's a theory by a particular physicist. But that's beside the point. It certainly isn't simple. I mean, that's
okay. Then I don't know what y'all mean by simple. Then.
Jesus Christ, Danny.
Do you know the mathematics? Do you know the mathematics behind the idea that there's one electron in the world?
The mathematics behind it?
Yes.
No.
What is that?
Okay, so it's not simple for you, is it?
Well, I don't take simple to be a function of math.
Okay.
So you don't think math can be simple and complex? Okay.
No, I'm saying that, like, if I say something is simple, I don't have to be saying that's mathematically simple.
I didn't say anything about whether it's mathematically simple. I just said that you don't understand the mathematics behind it.
Okay.
Whether it's simple
How does
or
that
not
turn on my objection?
Well, because you said it's a pretty simple idea, one electron, and I'm saying, well, it's not to you because you don't understand the theory behind that there is just one.
Do you think that when I said there's one electron I said that that's mathematically simple, or do you think I was talking about something else?
Well, no, I was thinking you were talking about the idea that there's only one electron in the universe.
Wait, is it true or false that it's simple? It's a simple picture to say that in the world there's only an electron.
No.
Okay, so you disagree with what I'm saying?
Yes, I mean I don't think it's simple to understand that there's only one electron in the universe.
What do I mean by simple then?
That's counterintuitive.
What do you think I meant by simple there?
Intuitive.
No.
Okay.
So what did I do?
I don't understand you. So I don't understand you.
Well,
so
you just said you disagree with me, so you don't
So
understand. You do
I don't
understand me if you disagree, right?
I don't understand you, so you're failing.
Yeah. So now there's no disagreement at the moment because you don't understand me.
Yeah, because you're
Okay.
failing.
So I just meant that it's very simple to say there's one electron because there's only one category of ontology.
I got one.
I'm not even sure that makes sense.
It made me feel cringy because it made me laugh when it popped into my head, but I have to say it. So Platonism has to be false because there is a distract object called Nick, who is a giant, powerful penguin that destroys all abstract objects.
Well, that's a contradiction.
You're gonna run with that one, Danny.
I mean, you're free to think it's a contradiction.
Well, you actually don't think it is, or are you joking?
No. Well, I don't think it is. But
the idea is that abstract objects don't engage in causal relations.
That's fine.
That's how they're defined.
That's how powerful this penguin is.
Well, yeah. So if you're saying that the penguin causally interacted because of its power or whatever with an abstract object, it's no longer an abstract object.
It's not. It doesn't work the same way because it's a distractive object. It works differently than the way you're thinking.
I don't know what you mean. So you just mean concrete object?
No.
Does it engage in causal relations? Yes or no?
This is a fourth type of object.
A distractive object, right?
That can do anything you want it to without having to do anything else.
Yeah, that's what I mean by a concrete object, I suppose.
Oh, that's a new way to think of a concrete object.
That is.
Wait, the fact that if look, the second that it engages or can potentially engage in causal interaction, that's what I take to be a concrete object.
So the description is it can do whatever you want without having to do anything else, meaning it can destroy abstract object without actually having causal relations.
Well, do you think destroy is a cause-effect notion?
Not in this sense. No, you would have to.
So you're equivocating on destroy? Like I take the notion of destroy.
I would have to be using it in two different senses to be equivocating.
Right. So how are you using? If you're not using destroy in the cause-effect sense, how are you using it?
I'm using it in the sense that the objects don't exist.
So you think like, I don't know, God is destroyed?
God is destroyed? Yeah, well, in this sense, because of the penguin, yeah.
Yeah, this is why I called you out for equivocation. No one talks that way.
Did you call it a destructive object or a
something that a person does? It's not whether they're using it in the way someone else is using it.
Sorry, what?
A person has to be using it in two different ways. It has nothing to do with whether I'm using it differently than you.
I don't think you know what equivocation is.
Oh, I think I do. And I think you just told me.
Look,
and
there's two senses. There's a sense in how we're using it, and you're using it in a different sense. That's what equivocation means.
If you want.
Yeah, it's never been what equivocation means.
Wait, you don't think? Wait, no. that's embarrassing for you. Look, if anyone, just look up the definition of equivocation right now, or equivocating. Look, if I say that I love pizza, and then I say I love my mom, I'm equivocating there. They're two different senses. So if we're saying that destroy, that the I don't know, the building was destroyed, that's one sense of the word. That's how we would use the sense of the word. And you're using it in a different sense of, right? You're not using it in that sense. So those are two different meanings. You're equivocating on our meaning.
Well, no, I mean, I said the term first in the sense that I'm using the word. So
right. So you're equivocating on our meaning.
Wait, if that's literally what equivocation means, just means you're using it differently than how someone else used it.
Yes, that's what equivocation means,
And
dumbass.
that means when you asserted your version of destroy over mine, you were equivocating.
I just like to add that Danny can't accuse Speed of being a bias because he did that to me before.
Yeah.
Or having a bias.
I did boot. Anyway, we're coming up on 3 hours here, guys, and I just don't know if I could listen to Danny anymore. I mean, okay. How did we end up on the definition of equivocation?
I don't fucking know.
Well, no, he was based. I mean, equivocation just means being ambiguous, right?
Yeah,
purposely. Well, I don't even know if it's I mean, if it's mistakenly ambiguous, I don't think it counts.
That's not the philosophical definition of equivocation.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the philosophical definition of equivocation is literally using both meanings at the same time, right? In an argument.
In an argument, yeah. To use the same word in the same argument in two different ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understood that
Well, equivocation is basically has something to do with an intention to mislead, right?
Well,
that's the colloquial.
Feel the truth.
That's the other. That's the sense I was just talking about.
Right.
Right. But I mean, I know Danny couldn't defend the the fallacy. Right. It's just simply using a word differently than someone else used a word.
Right. Yeah.
That's not right for the philosophical definition.
Well, yeah, it's not right for either one.
Oh my God.
Well, it might be true of one. Might be true of the colloquial definition.
Well, it's a part of it, right? But it's not. Well, what do you say? It's not. Doesn't make up the whole meaning, right? Because you have to be doing it to conceal the truth.
Which there has to be intention behind it. Deception. Yeah. I would agree with that. For sure.
But what did you name your new class of objects? Was it distractive objects?
Yeah, distractive.
Yeah, that's cool.
The simple fact that distractive exists means there can't be abstractive objects.
There could be many other kinds of objects.
I don't even know where we're going.
I will assert them into existence just like abstract objects are asserted into.
Oh my God, you're doing my head in. Totally. You're not that you don't always serve, right? I'm just saying, and I love you dearly, okay? But no, I mean, I just think some of these, whether something is, I don't see. No, I won't dig myself into the hole and start the whole conversation again. So let's not go down that. I do think you're right about the truth. You know, there are three. There could be three different values, right, for propositions, right?
Yeah.
I do think that can be seen as true, and I think you can give some, interesting examples, like you did. Elias paradox might be one. Some people think that it is it's either true or false, but but then they recognize that that's a state of indeterminacy. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and there's also two different senses here, right? Because I was trying to speak to one sense. I think Danny was trying to force it into another. Because when I was saying the belief could have the third state, like a maybe or an unsure, that literally just means I don't know if it's truth, like real truth value is one or the other.
Oh yeah, I mean it can go further than that because I think Gödel showed that you can have mathematical systems which can have true state or not true statements, statements for which the conclusion can't be known, which are both true and or false. But can never be shown to be true or false. Anyway, so that alone shows you that there should be three values. But of course, you might say then that they have a value of being true or false in themselves, even if it can never be known.
Anyways, thanks for having me, Speed. Thanks for hosting the weather report. And
yeah, okay, guys, we're going to end for the day. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. So ending the broadcast. Goodbye, cruel world. That's all you
Listen to him. No goodbye, cruel world. Life is wonderful.
Ah,